Terrible. That was terrible. The whole intro just wasn't even talking. All I said was that everybody was late. And can you hear me now? Can you hear me now? I think you can. Thanks for pointing that out, Charles. Everybody should be here any minute, but everybody's running late. It looks like everybody's doing the Halloweeners, I guess. But we can look at some cringe before you guys. Oh, I guess I should share my screen. I can do a cringe lord of the week before these guys pop on here. Though they always like to comment on the cringe lords of the week. Let's do it. No backflips. Anybody know what Risto's talking about there? No backflips. Oh, this is so dumb. Oh, this is already conked out on me. No backflips. I'm going to pull it up. Present. Candace Owens thinks Musk is a hybrid, like a chimera or something like that. What's up, Steve? We got no new comics from Steve this week, and all these guys are late. But anybody hear this yet? Listen to this.
Benson Boone is not the first to perform the Mormon backflip, though he's definitely one of the most famous. He's probably in competition with Brendan Urie of Panic at the Disco. Brendan also grew up Mormon and has also been known to do a backflip, like in this video while performing or in this video while on Ellen. But it's not just the famous Mormons or former Mormons who are doing the backflips, it's the normie Mormons too. There are a ton of very easy to find videos online of Mormons doing backflips. We have flipping at church camp, in the mountains. We have this video where he's flipping while wearing a suit and tie and doing jump rope. This video is from 13 years ago, so the backflipping situation has been going on for a long time. I grew up in the church, and I can confirm that doing a backflip is one of the classic ways for a Mormon boy to attract a mate and to simultaneously dunk on his less athletic friends. This, put simply, is Mormon peacocking, and for me, this is the athletic version of the Mormon boy that brings a guitar to every single function he attends. Keep in mind, Mormons can't look cool by...
Yeah, her voice like...
drinking or smoking or swearing. They can't even invite you to go to get a cup of coffee. And so flipping is basically the most family friendly while still being hardcore thing you can do. Backflipping is an easy way to get people's attention. You can do it in 3 seconds. You can do it anywhere you are. And most people consider it cool, if not a little obnoxious, when you do it over and over and over again. It's a pretty standard Mormon party trick.
I don't know what on earth she's talking about. Does any... I never saw backflips growing up. I saw my son do a backflip at church dance years ago. Well, this is a Mormon thing. I didn't know this was a Mormon thing. I've not been involved in backflip culture. Is that something in the last 20 years? Or is she just scraping the bottom of the barrel of stuff to say Mormons do? Rista, what does Candace Owens thinks Musk is a hybrid thing? I saw her stuff this morning saying that she's for sure that the Trump administration killed Charlie Kirk because he definitely did, because they gave him a holiday and a boulevard. And if you give somebody a holiday and a boulevard, it's just like Martin Luther King, and the feds definitely killed you. So that's that reasoning. I have not heard about her saying that Musk is a hybrid. I saw that she thought she was supposed to be back today, and she did not come back today. She was wrong on her schedule, but I don't know. I can't believe I'm even listening to that lady. I don't know what on earth she's talking about with stuff. Mormon backflips. Any of y'all done Mormon backflips? I do not see that Jared has even looked at the stream yet. I don't know if he's got something going on or is in trouble or in something, maybe a baby emergency or something. But Flip should be here any minute. A more, I don't know. Like, How is she supposed to keep this content going for another 5 years or 6 years or something like that? She had that one that went super viral saying all the Mormons have the same face. I can see that one, but this can't be something that she can keep going for another 10, 20, 30 years. Mormon backflips are the thing now. What's up, Flip? When backflips are because of the church, you have a hyper obsession. I do not know what is going on. I never heard of Mormon backflips. Flip, was backflipping a part of your Mormon experience?
No, that whole thing like is brand new to me.
So
I think,
stupid.
yeah, that was really dumb.
Um,
And
I
also, like,
s-
I mean, like I said in the chat, I think it's hilarious because like the Alyssa Grenfell video where she's like, this is just boys performing to try to attract women," and she says this while she's wearing lipstick and has like her hair curled and stuff. Like, oh, really? Is that something that we don't do? Is try to attract people? Is that something that's not done? Like, it's just so silly.
I don't remember any backflips when I was young. I remember one kid who was good on the trampoline and he could do backflips. I don't recall. I don't recall him trying to do it to show off for girls or something. Everybody knows the old joke of like grabbing too many chairs to show off for girls.
Yeah.
We all did that one. But that's all I can really think of. Had homies that did backflips, but it wasn't just the Mormons. Well, so I went to my friend's daughter's cheerleading competition, and I was shocked that the whole team could do backflips, and even kind of like all the boys and even some chubby looking people were just like turning backflips. I'm like, maybe backflips are easier than everybody thought, and somebody just learned how to teach the kids well how to do it. But my friends and her kids are not Mormon at all, and I don't know of any of those other kids being Mormon. Maybe backflipping is just what kids do nowadays. I don't know.
Yeah.
She was
Yeah.
made fun of somebody made fun of her nose ring, I guess. Leslie says she made a video about how teaching ninth graders in Utah was hard because of Mormonism. Trust me, teaching ninth graders in California wasn't any better. I believe that. I believe California is tough. But I watched her video on saying that she had to quit teaching because teaching ninth graders in Utah County was just too bad because the racism was so bad. She tried to give a class on Emmett Till, and when she gave the class on Emmett Till, the racism was just outrageous. I'm sure she taught the super duper truth about Emmett Till too, though. But so she had to quit that to go make Mormon content, and somebody's got to explain this to me because, like, okay, so my name's Andy NGO Kings right now. We're calling this NGO Kings because we're going to talk about the No Kings thing. But so much of all that stuff's astroturf. But speaking of astroturf, like Alyssa has to be astroturfed, right? Like,
So, yeah.
she just comes in and has a book. Like, hey, I went to I was a school teacher and I left Mormonism. Can you publish my book? Was that self-published or something like that? Like, how is that a book that anybody sells to anybody? Like,
I don't know.
so she sells a book, and then the next thing you know, she's just like shooting up the ranks in TikTok and surpassing John DeLynn. This person, like, something's astroturf there, man, right?
She's only 32. Yeah, I wonder. Yeah, that's because I don't know. Like, I mean, it's hard to, it's one of those things where it's like,
How does
we
she
all
sell?
know
How does
like
she
10
sell a book when
million.
she's nobody?
We know, everybody knows like musicians that never got famous that you're like, how the hell are you not touring the world making $1 million when you're as good as you are? And then you look at the, some of the bands that have careers and wonder how the hell you have a career. I don't know. It is kind of mysterious because like, because her content, she doesn't bring anything unique to it at all. Like,
No,
I mean,
maybe
I
just
think
some
back like
TikTok.
in the John Larson days of Mormon expression, like John Larson is a powerful personality, and he had done a whole like before he ever started a podcast, he was already super duper well researched on all kinds of stuff in and out of the church, and so like you put those things together, like he knows what he's talking about and has a forceful personality. Okay, that makes sense that he develops a following talking about Mormon stuff. Like Alyssa, like you know, she might as well just be like a newsreader reading off a teleprompter. It's that level of content, you know.
Yeah, and she just keeps finding like new. I mean, if we went through a contact right now and saw like what the topics of each of her things are, it's like kind of milking. You can tell it's like designed for social media sharing,
Yeah.
but at the same time, it's already milking stuff. Let me see if I can pull this. It was a while back, but I saw this TikTok of a guy talking about. Oh, here it is. I've got it. I'll just pull it up rather than say what it is. Because you. Sorry. Gosh dang it. Talk amongst yourselves. I'll give you a topic. I wasn't know just the one he said. The Mormon Tabernacle Choir is neither Mormon nor tabernacle nor choir. Talk amongst yourselves. It made me laugh, but I never quite got what's the joke there? I was like, what am I laughing at? Hold on here. I have to enter into the Streamlabs because this conked out on me. I hope it doesn't conk out on me again. Enter studio. Mute mic. Okay. Share screen. Okay, listen to this one.
Roommates with nothing more than a couple of guitars, unfathomable generational wealth, and influences ranging.
Magazine profile of an up-and-coming rock band. Let me start it over here.
4 NYU roommates with nothing more than a couple of guitars, unfathomable generational wealth, and influences ranging from the Rolling Stones to Radiohead. Crazy stuff. But while their self-produced, stepdad-financed EP has been a modest hit with several of the key internet people, the question remains, with their upcoming studio debut, can they become the greatest rock band of all time? Well, according to the publicist with whom this reporter has an undisclosed personal relationship, yes. Now, please enjoy these photos where they all look sort of greasy. 4 NYU.
For NYU. The thing is, like, a while back, I went through a rabbit hole of rock and roll stories of a bunch of the 80s bands. And if you think that boy bands were fake and made, like, created by whoever that boy band creator was, those 80s. I'm just watching all of them. Like, there's a factory of them, and they're all mixing and matching with each other. They're obviously coming out of some sort of place or some sort of school where they're meeting up and mixing and matching and changing in or out with inside of like some music scene or something like that until they land on the crew that they're going to run with. Like, it's very, very rare that it's actually kind of two home guys who were from the same town and decided to make it. Those 80s bands were as created as NSYNC or anything like that. But
can you hear me? My computer's spazzing out.
Yeah, I hear you. Are you frozen? Am I frozen? Yeah, you're frozen.
Am I unfrozen? I think I'm back.
Just your face was. I could hear you the whole time.
I think I mean, he's making fun of a lot of bands, but it sounds like he's making fun of the Strokes in particular, because that's the whole thing's like they were New York rich kids.
But it's just true of so many of them, man. It really is. It's not just like, especially recently. Like, if you go and look at any sort of Hollywood kid that's busting into Hollywood nowadays, and you look at them at all, you're like, why is this kid in anything? There's nepotism in there. Like, it's somebody's uncle or one thing off. The same way Taylor Swift got huge. Taylor Swift was a nepo baby thing. Like, there's almost nobody making it anywhere in that sort of stuff that isn't nepo. Not that stuff is making it anymore, because it's all like, if it's mainstream, it's dying. But probably because of this, because stuff's mainstream, it's not ever. The mainstream's crap nowadays. I saw somebody like Trump like knocking on Robert De Niro, saying, "Oh, he sucks." In that Red Letter Media group, someone says he just got nominated for an Oscar last year, and everybody's like, "So, like, that doesn't mean it doesn't suck." Like, Oscar, what does Oscar mean anymore? But yeah, so many bands that make it somewhere.
You probably had enough gay people in the movie, right?
Yeah,
more gay.
Speaking of that, if you just follow the Killers and those guys had LA connections, and this guy's brother was that guy's connection there. It's just how stuff happens. Starbase says, I just feel bad Zelf and Kara realize they are not the attractive Exmos. Yeah, there's always a younger one coming up. I talking behind the scenes to some Exmo gals back in the day, they talked to me about worrying about their looks draining some of their popularity directly. New Kids on the Block, my sister had a book of them that said, believe the new kids and they will always be there for you. Let's see.
Mug of vodka.
I just started.
Vodka with some ginger beer.
Oh, a Moscow. Hey, it's even a copper mug.
Mm-hmm.
You got a lime?
No, I just have lime juice.
Oh, that
Right.
counts.
I just went to I stopped at the liquor store on the way home. I didn't want to make 2 stops because I was already running late because I'm on a 12-hour shift now. And they just happened to have some Cock and Bull ginger beer.
Oh, I was going to ask you what the brand is. I
Yeah,
guess they have their own brand of ginger beer now.
Well, it was
Is this a booze corner? I should be booze cornering already. Hold on. Let me go.
my coworker today that we've been on this 12-hour shift together was like, man, I'm going to get home. I'm going to have a Moscow Mule. And I was like, shit, that sounds awesome. I haven't busted out my copper mug in a while.
I like a Kentucky Mule better just because
What's the Kentucky Mule? What's
bourbon instead of vodka.
see, I always like the Irish Mule. That was just whiskey.
Irish
That's what I was told. It was just called an Irish Mule. I don't know.
Yeah, I mean, I think it's all the same thing. Like, I don't know. I mean, Moscow Mules are like, for a mixed drink, that's a really classic. I like those a lot. Except for
Wait, say what they are again.
Moscow Mule. It's because what
Milk and vodka. Right?
No,
What?
Which was
You're thinking of a white-
milk and
thinking of a
vodka.
white. You're thinking of a White Russian.
White
White
Russian.
is,
Oh yeah.
is vodka.
What do they
Kahlua.
drink in Clockwork Orange?
Oh, what is that? I haven't seen that in so long.
Keep going. Sorry, I'm interrupting with.
No,
It's
I mean that's
like a normie interrupting in politics.
It's a really simple, good drink.
So wait, but what is it? What is the Moscow Mule again?
Vodka, ginger beer, and lime.
Oh, so it's 3. I'm thinking like one of the things is not a beer thing. It's 3 alcohol things, or
Well,
except for wine.
ginger beer's not alcohol.
Oh, it's just like the ginger
Yeah.
ale. Yeah.
Yeah,
It's like really strong ginger ale. But I ever tell you what Morgan's favorite drink is? I guess it was.
What?
She hates alcohol, and actually, she doesn't really like drinking that much because it just makes her sick.
Yeah, I don't like
And
it.
so the first time we go to a bar, and she's like, I hate the taste of alcohol, so give me some like seltzers are too strong for her. And
Oh.
she's like, give me something that tastes like a milkshake. And I found a chata colada on there, and those are pretty good, but it's probably like 1,000 calories a glass because it's a little bit of white rum, a bunch of rum chata, and pineapple juice, but she prefers orange juice, and then cream of coconut.
Yeah. That's like I can like freaking Bailey's, or there's a fancy version of Bailey's that I think is really good, and like I treat it like dessert, but you have to. It's like it literally is just cream. Okay. If we're gonna do Flip's Booze Corner, that's something I think is kind of funny. Is Irish cream is like, because you kind of have this idea that like, oh, Irish cream is an old Irish traditional drink that goes way back. It's like, no, there was a English businessman who had varying businesses interests in Ireland, including he owned a distillery and he owned a dairy, and his dairy produced waste cream, like it made butter, so he had just a leftover cream. He didn't know what to do with it, so he hired a food scientist and was basically like, make something I can sell to Americans. And the original recipe for Irish cream was whiskey, heavy cream, and Nesquik chocolate milk mix. But like that's really what it comes down to. And so like, yeah, and it was like invented in like the 1970s or something. And it's funny because like it is popular now in Britain and Ireland, but like it's not like an old Irish thing by any means. Like no, it was totally invented.
It's about as new as that East Wing.
Yeah.
Oh, the proud Irish tradition. The proud Irish drink of the Irish car bomb.
It's actually shocking to me how many
Screwdriver.
things I thought were ancient traditions were only recently invented.
The screwdriver is the basic thing. If you want to advance to the next level, is the Harvey Wallbanger, which is just a screwdriver with Galliano added.
What's that?
Galliano is an Italian liqueur. It's weird, but the principal flavor in it is I think it's fennel. Like it's an orange-based liqueur, but it's got like fennel added. So it's weird. You know, it's an aperitif. So it's got like a strong kind of herbally, spicy flavor. In fact, you can't even get Galliano in Utah right now because Utah's ridiculous.
You ever watch The Office?
Starbase Club says the same with judo. Joseph Smith is older than judo. The Office?
Yeah.
Yeah, most of it, but I definitely didn't complete it. That's one of the ones I got to go complete.
Well,
Like-
you don't really like.
Well, like Seinfeld, that one, and there was another show that I'm slowly trying to complete to find where the few I've missed are, and I know I've missed a few, and I don't know where they are. I could do that with Always Sunny in Philadelphia. I could do that. Like it feels like a chore to just go find what I haven't watched.
Oh, yeah, you got to watch all of It's Always Sunny, but The Office, it gets way less good once Steve Carell leaves, and that's like halfway through season 7. And then they did a season 8, and they did pretty good, like better than you think with it, because they have James Spader in it, and his
I saw a
character
few of those.
he's one of my favorites. And then season 9 was just absolute shit.
With Idris Elba. When did he come?
No, he came in like season 6.
Hmm.
5, I don't know. Anyway, there's this great scene in The Office where they're having an office party, and they're not supposed to bring booze, but they do. They have all these mixed drinks, and Michael's talking about his special drink, and he hands one to Jim, and he's like, "I try this," and he's like, "Oh, that's really good. What is it?" He's like, "It's vodka and orange juice. I made it myself. I call it an orange vodjuska."
In A Clockwork Orange, the main characters drank Moloko Plus, which I'm guessing you say close to milk, like you do in Japanese when words are spelled like that.
Moloko.
You know, everything in like Clockwork Orange is Russian slang, right? Like all the slang is Russian slang in it. And
Moloko. I thought I knew what that word meant.
it's milk. Moloko, milk.
Oh yeah, I did. It's one of the ones that.
But I'm wondering if it has like Japanese pronunciation, like, you know, with a KU, like something will be spelled like have 2 U's in it, and then they'll say it and it'll be like milk. You're like, oh, I didn't miluka, you know, but
yeah, it's Japanese is weird because like there's a bunch of like characters in Japanese things named something like Sasuke, right?
yeah.
And if a person read that name out, if like an English person read it out knowing nothing about it, they'd say Sasuke, because it's Sasuke,
All those
and
swallowed
but it's
U's.
basically the U is swallowed. It's not like you say Sasuke, it's Sasuke, and you, I don't know if you don't know.
But does that happen with these O's in Moloko with
Moloko?
yeah, so is it just like them doing some sort of pronunciation of the English word? Moloko.
Moloko. No, I think it's Moloko.
I don't think so. The O's
Russian
are
totally allows for consonant clusters.
Look down here. The
Like,
plus,
oh my god!
the
Yeah,
Moloko
what's
is derived
the-
from the Russian word for milk.
Yeah.
So there's this Russian's annoying. One of the most annoying words in Russian that you got to learn is one of the words for with. Like if you want to say, we need to prepare some mushrooms for the salad. It's the word for. It's нам надо приготовить грибы для салата. And that word для, it's like D-L, and then the backwards R, which is ya. So it's D-L-Y-A. Для. And it,
the word for day is like D-N-Y-A. Yeah.
Din. It's just
Well, it's like the word for hello, Strasutya.
Strasvitya.
And
Yeah,
it's like it's STZDTRG far, like it's literally like 6 consonants before you get to a vowel.
it's
so silly.
it's insane.
Starry says the radio was invented before the triangle choke with the legs. Man, ancient Chinese recipe, my ass. So when I was young, I remember just sitting there and thinking,
What's that?
You got noodle delivery?
Yeah, I got home like hugged my kids, cleaned shit up in here, and then so I've eaten nothing but sunflower seeds today.
Tell them that ramen wasn't my idea.
Oh yeah, she wants you to know the ramen wasn't her idea. I bought this for lunch at work and then didn't eat it. She's like, "Can I make you something?" I was like, "I really kind of wanted my ramen."
Did any of you guys watch that Chinggis Khan video that Jonathan got these AI inspirations from?
I don't
No.
think so.
Oh, it's worth watching. Like, it's kind of amazing.
Did he
In,
share it?
in,
I don't
in a
remember.
horrible, I mean, it's 1979 Eurovision. You remember Eurovision, right, Chris?
Find it.
I
check.
remember
Yeah.
you got mad. You got
Flip
mad
made
at us.
made me sit and watch a bunch of Eurovision.
It was other Chris that made you do it, but I was into it.
You were into it. You guys were
Well,
both. I didn't realize Eurovision music was so bad.
No,
You know?
like, because he introduced me to Eurovision one day, like, and it's like it was like mornings, like it was the summer that we were unemployed, and all we did was play YouTube and drink cheap beer, and like I don't even remember how it came up, but like he played a Eurovision.
Most times,
song.
if I went and watched you guys just run around YouTube, it was highly entertaining. But that time pissed me
You did
off.
not like Eurovision. Because I just remember like he puts on like because you weren't there for when he introduced me to Eurovision, and I just remember like him putting it on, and I'm like, this is the stupidest thing I've ever seen in my life. And then we watched it for like 10 straight hours.
If anybody's ever taken the time to watch a bunch of Eurovision songs, just think of like the worst Brady Bunch. What were those? The Brady Bunch hour things and the Osmond hour
The
things.
variety shows, yeah.
Just forever. Yeah. Oh
Yeah,
my
but look at those dudes. Those dudes pull pussy.
gosh. Yeah. Anyway, I was gonna say, like, when I was a kid, I
the
thought
guy
things-
on the left in the green, like he is the most German man.
Oh, I was
Somehow.
almost sure this was a comedy troupe.
No,
This is the actual band?
Huge hit. They
Oh,
had a
shit.
#1 in Australia.
I was almost sure, like, I could recognize the dude, like the mustache and the bald guy.
Yeah,
The guy in the middle is like,
Like-
is that Pete Holmes?
Right there,
That
you
does
wouldn't
kinda
know,
look
it's like, is that a still from original Star Trek? And you could probably lie to somebody and convince them that it was.
Do you have the
I'm
video?
looking
Find
at
the
it.
video.
I'm looking at it. I'm like, is that a Monty Python sketch right there? Like,
I was
I
almost
don't
sure this is a
recognize him.
sketch. But
Um,
anyway, I was just trying to say a couple times. I thought things like going to high school dances and high school homecoming reunions when I was a kid were like 1,000-year-old traditions. Like, this must go back to my fathers and the forefathers and the forefathers before them. But
I learned today that the term glowy
means
for bed. No, but because I was always confused, like, what does that mean?
they glow.
And well, but I mean, what does that mean? And then I found out that it came from. It's only from like 2017 or 2018 or so.
No, I thought it went way back before that.
No, it's
I was gonna guess X-Files.
Do you remember? Did you ever learn about Temple OS?
No.
Weird story. Like, and I don't understand computers, but there was this mad genius guy called Terry Davis, who was a software guy, but he was crazy. He was schizophrenic and he was a nut job, and he built like an entire operating system for computers by hand because he thought that it was the third temple of God. Like he had God told him to build the third temple, and he did it in a computer. But like he didn't just build an OS; like he built like the machine code and the kernel, and like literally everything from the very ground up. And like somebody once described it as like somebody building a skyscraper completely by himself. And he was a complete nut job, and he would go on these bizarre racist rants. But like a lot of schizophrenics, he thought he was being followed by the feds. And he said one day that like he used a racial slur for black people and said they're feds, and the ones that glow in the dark, you can tell they're feds because they glow in the dark. And that is where that spread from, is that they're glowies. Because like I was always confused, like that's what, because like how do they glow? Like what do you mean? That's a strange thing. But yeah, no, it's from a nut job, a crazy guy, and then he killed himself by walking in front of a train.
Shit posters always take a lot of inspiration from schizos.
Yeah. Well, schizo's like, I mean, because I had a friend who died a couple years ago who was schizophrenic, And like, it really is true that like they tend to be brilliant. Like my friend, like when he wasn't psychotic, was like a really brilliant guy. Like he
Like
played
the
a lot of
beautiful
chess.
mind guys. But I mean, I think that's what
Yeah.
schizophrenia is like your brain is able to make connections, and then that goes a little bit haywire and it starts making too many connections.
Yeah, like when I was a kid, I went on this weird kick where I read biographies of famous chess players. And just reading about them, I'm like, wow, a lot of these people die gibbering morons in a gutter. Like a disproportionate number of people who are fantastically good at chess go insane. It's like there's definitely a correlation there. I mean,
Well, it's
Bobby Fischer. Bobby Fischer was a paranoid schizophrenic guy.
it's
At
my
the end of his life, he was completely bonkers.
it's my theory of philosophy. There's three types of philosophers in the world. There's midwits who want to convince people that they're smart. There's midwits who want to convince people to let them fuck kids. And then there's truly brilliant people who are fucking insane.
Complete autists who just are trying to solve everything, and then when they realize when they get close to solving everything, it just goes deeper and deeper and deeper and deeper, and there's no bottom. Which I think is what Wittgenstein did. Like we talked about the language of Wittgenstein. It was the same thing as Ted Danson in that season 2 of where he's just like he seems schizophrenic because he starts like making all these signs for all these things. And then have you ever seen like the Wittgenstein language when have you ever seen that like all written out?
No.
I'll pull it up, but I was gonna, speaking of things that glow, the wood elves covered the milking farms. The milking farms.
I think if you
did they?
Well, it was part of the. I sent you the thing of they came across Nick Fuentes fan fiction. There's Nick Fuentes female sex fan fiction from the left, straight up from the left, because I don't know. I guess they like dangerous things, like Flip and I were talking about last week.
Dude, have you seen? There was a bunch of Reddit posts during Trump's first term on like kink pages where it was like liberal girls who were really ashamed because they were like, I don't know why, but I want a MAGA chud to just come and just toss me around and just do things to me. It's such a weird kink.
I've said it before. I'll say it again. It's not a joke. It hasn't happened in a long while, but this is possibly because there's not very many good places to argue with feminists where they'll stay on the line anymore. But back in the day when I would get into it with people on Feminist Mormon Housewives, before long, a couple of them were sliding into my DMs. And it's not even a joke. Like you'd be like, this is pathetic, man. It's pathetic that, I didn't take up any single one of them, but it's like, that's so weird that it just happens like that. And you almost kind of want to go explain it to the guys who are like, "Milady, I'll save you, milady," the white knights in there. Like, dude, I know what you're trying to do, and you are doing it backwards. I promise you.
You gotta treat her like shit, buddy.
I promise you are. Yeah.
No, I thought I sent you the screenshot or something because I didn't realize the Wood Elves talked about this. Because I got this organically. My sponsored ads are all sorts of fucked up. I had one today for facial feminization surgery.
Oh yeah. I'll pull it.
But I had this exact one. I have a ton of smut novels in my sponsored ads, and part of it's because I keep commenting on them. But yeah, I've had this one a couple times. And isn't it like she goes to work at a glory hole for minotaurs and just falls?
But I do
sucks off.
It seems like a big terrible beast, but you should know that he said that he voted for Obama twice and would have voted for Obama a third time if had the chance. So he's not that much of a beast. This is Wittgenstein's writing. Like it's that stuff that was happening at the end of season 2 with Ted Danson, where he was writing stuff over the walls, where he came to the decision of if everybody could stop doing the equivocation with words, if everybody just knew what everybody meant, like his saying was, there's no philosophy, there's just misunderstanding of words. Like there's no, and if everybody would just come to this agreement of doing this sort of stuff, of making these words this way so everybody knows right exactly what we're talking about, and it just like went and just became these like huge diagrams, huge entire things. Jesus. And after a while you just kind of go, dude, like you're right, but now you see where it breaks trying to take it too far. You know what I mean? And that's kind of what the super autistic smart philosophers are. It's like they land on something that's right. Like we have a problem with equivocation of words and nobody understands each other. So he basically lands on the Derrida thing. But then he tries to solve it, and then you see like, well, solving it's kind of impossible too.
Ew, I just realized he's got a pail of milk and he's dumping it out right where his dick is.
This is the cover of the book. Yeah, I didn't even realize that was milk. That has to mean that that's what the stuff that she was milking out to get for medicine.
She's got a
for the
pail.
guy.
She's got a pail of cum.
Oh my
what else
gosh!
pointed out that like, because like, you know, because men use pornography, but like they do it like in the dark alone. And they're ashamed of it, and they don't talk about it, and they don't share it. Whereas, like, women will bring this shit to work and and read it in between answering the phone.
Exactly. Let me show you this though, because I was speaking about feds and secret sex things. I just got to start with this as a primer.
Have you seen? All progressive guys cross their legs like women. What they do, literally, it's a sign. It's I cross my legs. As I cross my leg, it'll hike up my top leg, pant leg, and it'll expose my colorful sock. Mm-hmm. And then you'll know where I'm at. By the way, you can watch them all. Watch Gavin Newsom. Watch them all. Watch them how they cross their legs, and then watch how Trump crosses his legs. Mm. He doesn't cross legs. He holds his legs wide open.
He puts a diamond in front of his testicles.
Right.
He sits like this every time.
So there's Trump with the diamond. His diamond, which accentuates his nutsack. And then you have Justin Trudeau signaling, I have no balls. I have no balls. I will sit in this position for 4 hours, cut off the circulation of my nutsack because I do not have balls, but I have colorful socks, so you know where I'm at. Ladies, gay community, you know where I stand. Look at my socks and watch me cross my legs like a chick.
Okay,
Just
Jordan
point that
Peterson
out
does
real
that
quick.
too.
Well,
Okay.
What does that mean?
So-
Offensive? When I say that women should.
I remember I had a talk about this when I was a little kid. I saw my mom crossing her legs, and I was just like, "Oh, try that." And I sit like that, and then my dad came and gave me the man talk. He was like, "Men don't cross their legs like that." Oh, really? He's like, "Men cross their legs like this. You put your ankle on your knee like that. It's the only way you're allowed to cross your leg." I was like, "Oh, okay, cool." I was like, "Why?" He's like, "'Cause it'll squish your balls otherwise, and you look gay."
I genuinely don't think I can sit this way, but
It's very, very uncomfortable.
but it's just because I'm a Minotaur.
Be mothers instead of go
I
to
don't even know what he says here. I just noticed the leg crossing.
college. How does that offend you?
No, you said women shouldn't go to college, and we talked about education.
That's what I just said. You're
But then
living
I
proof of why
said-
women shouldn't go to college. Let me just tell you that.
I'm living proof why women shouldn't go to college.
Yeah,
Wait.
because college
If you don't want this
is
personal
special.
attacks,
What
then don't
if
do the
I- what
personal.
if
And that, of course, brings about these fantasies because they were talking about it. They found like the red. I'll just pull up the video. Not we'll watch any of it, but just to show everybody, the Wood Elves base camp guys covered all this Nick Fuentes fan fiction, sex fan fiction with Nick Fuentes all over Reddit and all that sorts of stuff from lefties who make sure to say before they write this stuff, this isn't that I politically agree with them. I just think it's taming the beast. It's the Jordan Peterson stuff that we talked about last week.
Whoa! Does that weird you out? The fucking he was pointing out a little bit how suits are now. Like men that wear suits, their pants when they do cross their legs like that, they go like halfway up their shin. They're like high waters.
Yeah,
That's gotta be annoying.
Chris, show
is
my
that?
screen.
hold on a second. I'm just going to show it right here. Videos. Man, wasn't that just this week? The rise of the female gooners. Oh, Nick Fuentes fanfic. Here it is. Nick Fuentes fangirls and female gooners trends on Basecamp. At the very top right there, if you want to watch it from
I ended
Basecamp.
up listening to the whole thing. It was fascinating.
Yeah, it's crazy. Let me show a flip screen now. Where is it at? I see it.
Because I was just scrolling through the Wittgenstein page, and apparently he went to school with Adolf Hitler.
No,
That's what
I'd
it
believe
says.
it. I'd believe it. Man, just this week, Martyr Made released his first episode. That's the guy who's the historian that nobody's supposed to listen to because he's speaking apologetically for, not apologetically, but sort of apologetically for viewing all humans as humans who have gone through something. So he's telling the World War I and World War II stories from the German side. And I got to tell you, it does a pretty good job. It's not too different from Dan Carlin's stuff talking about World War I, but dead seriously, I've thought about this before because he goes through Hitler's experiences through World War I. I think from Hitler's own experiences from World War I, just from that alone, he could have declared insanity. Like, I think I would have gone insane. You know, just like if you hear like all the stuff that he went through,
Did he get
'cause he's,
mustard
like, in the
gas
Somme
pretty
and
bad?
he had everybody in his troop die more than one time. He
So
was
he
a
was
runner.
crazy, wasn't he? He would run messages and
He was a
like,
runner, yeah.
he
and
didn't
he
give a
would take-
fuck about fire or anything like that.
Yeah, probably because he went nuts. You know what
Yeah.
I mean? So I think like almost everything after that, if there's ever anybody who had like a right to claim insanity, it might have already been Hitler. You know. Anyway,
Hitler just had PTSD. We need to be more compassionate to people.
yeah, I think that's basically what his point of the thing is going to be because he only did one episode. It's a modern
Instead
day
of
on YouTube
Instead
now.
of the POW camp, they should have had a social worker there.
Yeah, that would have saved humanity. Like
Send it-
if you could go back in time, Lefty, and send a social worker to Hitler, would you?
That would have saved 6 million Jews. I mean, if you believe that.
Or would it be racist to send a social worker to Hitler to rehab Hitler?
Just need a powerful black woman.
Since we have all those like rewriting of the history things from Tarantino that he taught everybody to do, you might as well just have them like do like a nice girl go and rewrite history, and so they can go make Nick Fuentes adorable and cute for their sex parties, and then they can go back and rehabilitate Hitler before he got to World War II from his trauma from World War I. Real trauma. Oh, we had trauma stuff this week from Blair Real.
It's pretty funny. If we had fixed Hitler and Nick Fuentes' trauma, they would have all of my liberal white lady opinions now. Anyway, let me tell you about my trauma. Oh, so yours must be right, even though you also have everyone in your life was a narcissist. Oh my god, that's great. What are the odds? Every one of the guys you dated is toxic.
Hitler
Holy
just
shit.
didn't know that
You've
all
got
of his
so
friends
much
were
you
toxic.
might even have more trauma than Nick Fuentes, which kind of using your logic means you're probably more wrong.
Yeah. Let me go down the thing because trauma. I mean that lines up nice because Blair Real.
Blurry.
Motherfucker, Blairy.
Motherfucking Blair. Hold on a second. Did I have? Oh man, we got all sorts. We could just like go straight through cringe fest this whole episode. This could be cringe-isode.
I'm trying to suck me in.
Let's see, but Blair, he had his trauma episode this weekend. It's actually pretty good.
Yeah, I didn't get around to watching that, but Streeter said like
This is it, Fragilization, and yeah, it was basically regurgitating everything Jonathan Haidt ever said about anti-fragility with kids from coddling and combined type stuff. So it's like it's not like breaking any ground, but it's also kind of interesting that coming out of the gate right after becoming a coach, he comes out with that. Kind of makes me go, oh, maybe I should get off your back, Blair Real, even though Jared just made a good character off of you.
I'll never stop that. Even if he becomes completely based, I'm
Blair Real.
Blairy.
trauma informed wisdom, motherfucker.
I'm here to make you all trauma free. Blairy. I don't know, he became Louis Armstrong there, I guess. I see Blairs of real.
Ryan Wimmer says Blair Real is an expert at people feeling trauma from getting their feelings hurt from church. Yeah, but they had an episode this week. Their first episode was stop making your identity about trauma, and that's outrageous to say to ex-Mormons. It's risque to say to ex-Mormons. And Jonathan praised it over on Mormon Stories. I don't know if this ever got approved. We would love to be able to see that stuff, but we still can't see it. Colby, you're a moderator over there. Why are we blocked? Is it just because we show the stuff? Like this could be block worthy. Just we're showing.
Hey,
stuff.
yeah, we got a mod on the inside.
Yeah.
Who loves discussion? You guys love discussion, right? John Dolan, he loves discussion and diversity, and he wants to have all voices in there.
He
So-
wants
When's that
to hear
Charlie?
from
When's
Huh?
that Charlie Kirk episode supposed to drop? 2027 after the trial. But I got to pull up. Reese still sent over the nuttiness that was Candace Owens today.
Bro, did you see Crowder had an episode just titled "Candace Owens is an evil cunt"?
Yeah, I think he's right. He said something about she called Elon Musk some sort of hybrid or something like that. But she definitely said that it's proof that they're giving Charlie a holiday and a street. That they only do that when feds kill people. So it's proof that the
It's
feds
gonna be
kill
in a shitty neighborhood too. Yeah, I'm sure Charlie Kirk Boulevard is gonna be right next to MLK and Malcolm X Boulevard.
Lewis and Token went through World War One too. Yeah, but they used it for evil, whereas Hitler used it. I mean, wait a second. The episode's really good. If you ever watch Dan Carlin's or listen to his episodes on World War One, it's just so mesmerizing just listening to somebody go off for an hour on how terrible the trenches were. And you get to go through that all again, and it's all like well quoted from people from the time of like how muddy, how watery, how many rats, how many fleas, how many lice, how nasty and horrible and terrible it was. And then all your friends are constantly dying around you, sometimes just from sinking in mud. And
I wish I could channel 16-year-old Jared, because when I read about World War One the first time, and this was actually in school, one of the few things that I got out of school, it was just talking about the whole, the Franz Ferdinand thing and how it's just this collapsing domino of ally ships. And I got to it, like I could rant about this person killed this guy, and then that country was allies with that country, so they had to fight, but then these were allies with them. I could name all the country, and it felt so cool. But I don't remember. It's been forever. And it's probably the Jews that started it anyway, so all that's bullshit.
yeah, so I'll show it right here real quick. Martyr Made. I think you're gonna have to pay for future episodes, but he's on Dave Smith right now too, talking about it. But this episode right here, Enemy, the Germans War, episode 1. I mean, it's the 4-hour one right here. Yeah, it's just really good going into history, and it pulls a lot from this guy here. Speaking of other philosophers, and this guy's one of the early philosophers of. People pull from him a whole lot when they start talking about libertarianism. Ernst Jünger.
God, Germans were so stylish back in the day. That is a cool fucking coat.
Wrote on conservatism, but also he's kind of like the early person a lot of libertarians pull from. And I'm sure he knew Hitler too. He was some sort of military commander in there or something like that. So it talks about his experiences in the war. Martyr May just kind of sums them up really well. So if you want to listen to that.
Hitler, this guy in Wittgenstein, I think like the anti-Frankfurt school.
Yeah. But at the same time too, everybody else says you're not supposed to listen to Martyr May at all, which I can see that because they said some stuff that's kind of, he's the one who said Churchill was the actual enemy of the World War II, or the actual, not enemy, what
Bad
was the word?
guy, the
The
villain.
actual bad guy, the villain. Yeah. Which he was obviously being provocative, but it pissed off a lot of people like Victor Davis Hanson or whatnot.
Mm.
Well, Victor Davis Hanson didn't get pissed off in the sense of like other people, like he should be shut down. He just contested it. But
yeah.
Anyway, so Jonathan gave kudos. I don't know if it got plopped up on Mormon Stories there. He gave kudos to old Blibril and his girlfriend, Teresa Hobbs. I think she seemed pretty good on it too, because she was like, I was living a life of just identifying with the pain and trauma I was going through, and I was tired of it, and I wanted out of it.
So I stopped life coaching with Sam Shelley.
There's Leslie saying, was I the only one that was pleasantly surprised to see that Bill Reel's new girlfriend seems so grounded and thoughtful? I think we all were very surprised. I was very upset to get through an hour and a half and not have anything to bitch about. I identify with my bitching. And I'm like, oh no, don't take this from me. Yeah, so you want to read what John said?
Yeah. This discussion on Almost Awakened podcast with Blair and Teresa Hobbs is one of the best reviews of Mental Tool Set that is out that is important outside of religion. Much of ex-Mormon podcasting is based on ruminating on spiritual trauma, expanding the conception of victimhood, and catastrophizing its effects.
I
Blaming
wonder who he
systems.
means.
Blaming systems, not people. Systems, not people. And the resulting externalization of agency that goes along with it. This discussion reviews how the following things that are commonplace in ex-Mormon discourse can actually be bad for your mental health if you don't move beyond them. Safe spaces, trigger warnings, always blaming systems, not people. Progressive stack, coddling, over-identifying with your trauma, requiring others to change for you to be able to self-regulate, of offense avoidance. There's a little bit of woo in the end that is mostly a shoulder shrug, and life coaching in general is mostly cringe based on past examples. But who are you talking about?
I wonder who's talking about.
But if this is the level of stuff that the new Almost Awakened project is producing, I'm interested in more. Check it out and subscribe. Smash that like and subscribe button. Hit that notification bell because the algorithm's trying to suppress us.
Yeah, I was pretty surprised by it. Also, because like she went into a portion where she talked about they were having this group, and then the group got totally hijacked by a trans or non-binary person. And before long, the group was offering to pay the non-binary person to teach all of them. Even the therapist of the group was like saying, "We will pay you for your time to inform us of your experiences." And she, Bill Real's girlfriend, was upset by that, and just even being willing to say that in the ex-Mormon world is ballsy, you know.
Well, it's one of the things that the more wokey things, like the woke ideologies, will do to you is it will castrate your ability to say that's retarded, and not just because retarded's a bad word, but because like saying this is dumb, you are denying lived experience. So if you're talking about a subject and a non-binary comes in there and talks about how their personal experience puts them much higher on the oppression hierarchy than you, and so you need to pass them the mic, what you're supposed to say, that's fucking retarded, shut up, and then you keep talking. That's it. But in this shit, you got to be like, ah, shit, Zer's right. I can't punch down. I got to listen. Pass the mic.
Yeah, well, I mean, it was pretty daring that they dared to say something about it, and I don't think they minced words, because when they started talking about that, I thought it was going off the rails there, and that's right where it didn't. It was right where they said, "I thought that was ridiculous," you know, and I thought they were gonna kind of back off right there. Yeah, we should. And she talked about how it got impossible for a teacher who was trying to hold those sort of like victim rankings, and she could only call on people in order of their victim rankings and had to leave people lower on the victim scale raising their hands and all that sorts of stuff. She called out that ridiculousness and said, how can you even do anything like that or act like that or not act like anybody else could have trauma at all?
I'm so sorry, Vicky, but we've actually already called on 3 white people this month. It's Davarion's turn.
Yeah, Reese will share a link over in the Longhouse about a couple. One was from Africa and the other was from Hawaii, who I guess they became Orthodox again afterwards. But he shared it over the Longhouse if you want to watch it. But they talk about how like they just went. They were almost raised off of DEI education, going through grad school their entire lives. Like that's what they were just born and raised into, and they were going insane in that, as if it were somebody kind of raised in something like Mormonism or something like that, you know, like they're like, what is this? None of this makes sense. I don't get this. What's going on? And then that's how they found the orthodoxy stuff. But it's interesting to see people who just from a young age get raised in the inculcation of the wokeness and like how upside down it starts making them feel. Which, you know, there could be a lot of people exiting that in the future, as we may see. But interesting stuff. Anti-fragility. Stop imagining the fake scenarios and hurting your own feelings. Should we go to the cringy White House or should we? John DeLynn noticed that the Deseret News came out swinging against non-monogamy. Who would have thunk it?
Did he mean to word it like that?
Yeah, is that a pun? Comes out swinging.
I guess. I don't know.
I don't think he's ever that subtle. So I think if he meant it as a joke, he would have like explained. By the way, that's a pun on the word swinging because did you know that swingers are like the people who have sex with other partners? So it would be a double. Shut up, John.
Perspective. It's just a perspective, John. You're into those, right?
Yeah, you don't kick people out of your group just for their perspective.
Yeah, you
Shout out
want
to you, Kobe, Mr. Moderator.
Your show's all about exploring perspectives.
Perspectives. I don't have an autistic of the week. Oh, Jared, you've been reading I guess for Jared's Degenerate Book Club, which he did not read The Milking Farm. But you've been reading the Queer Mormon Theologies.
I didn't get very far, really.
13 minutes?
I got farther than that.
Okay.
Not much, but that's 13 minutes. Wait, go back. Is that that's the intro. No, I got further than that. The intro was just hilarious because I was like, oh my God, I'm going to tell somebody, if I hated somebody and like actually wanted them to die, I would tell them to take a shot every time the word queer is said. It is seriously like twice a sentence. It makes Nephi saying "and it came to pass" look tame. It's bad, but I don't know. I listened to the intro and then I listened to a little bit of the first chapter. Oh my God! Up to this point, the first chapter is like all like basically preamble apology about why she's talking about this from her privileged perspective and shit, and how like she's queer, by the way. She mentions a few thousand times that she's queer.
What?
And yeah, it's wild. And she says, and I'm fully aware that any talk about queer Mormon theology is intrinsically tied to people of color. But as I am not a person of color, I would let a person of color talk on that. Like, that's a pretty smart move. You don't want to go full D'Angelo, but it's funny because I want to find. She says Mormonism is inherently queer, like in the very first part. It's one of the first things she says, and it's funny because I bet I could get her to also say that Mormonism is inherently white supremacist, which queer sort of entails intersectionality, right? So if I'm a queer theorist and I call something inherently queer and inherently white supremacist, wouldn't I want those things to be mutually exclusive? You know, like anyway,
I don't know. Would they call Hitler queer? Would they want to, if they found out Hitler was dressing as a girl or something, would they want to start claiming him? Or
they wouldn't want to claim him, but they would
resuscitate him.
Well, they would blame cis heteronormativity on the Holocaust.
Oh yeah,
it was because of his suppressed
so it's our
queerness.
fault.
Yeah, it's his suppressed queerness that got him to kill all the Jews. He'd have been fine with the Jews if we would have just let him wear a fucking dress.
Man.
But yeah, I didn't get very far into it. I don't know. Maybe I'll read that Minotaur story. I wonder if it's on Audible. What's it called?
Let me go back. Where?
Milking the Bullcock.
Morning Glory Milking Farm.
Oh, Christ. Man. You know what's funny is anytime I get a book, Morgan notices it immediately. She notices.
Oh, you're going to try to hide this from her?
I'm not going to try to
Wait a
hide
minute.
it.
Is she listening? No. I think you should see if you can get away with reading Morning Glory Milking Farms entirely without her finding out until it's over.
It won't happen.
She's going to listen.
It seriously, oh man.
I think you should set a goal. You need to keep this secret from your you need to keep this secret from your spouse.
Oh no.
It's on there?
It's on there. Do I have a credit right now? I got 3 credits. All right. It's mine. I bought.
All right. We want a full book report, but I would hope
rides, right?
I would hope Morgan doesn't find out about this at all until she sits down next to you as you give the live book report of the entire thing.
I will bet
and that's
you
when you reveal to her that you've been gooning to
I will bet you
Morning
money,
Glory Milking Farm.
I bet you money she texts me what the fuck before the end of this podcast.
Morgan, I would only request him to keep a secret from you when he reads smut for this podcast, just to see if you see a change in his face. And it's just for scientific experiments. Like, I want to see if you notice like it's almost kind of like testing to see if there's ghosts or something. Like, do you see the spirit going out of his face? And you're like, wait, have you been reading something shitty?
Yeah,
You can
well,
see in his eyes.
obviously I'll jerk off to it, but like, that's. I mean, how could you
It
look at
is
that?
a monster bait romance. It says right there in the corner.
He voted for Obama 3 times. 3 times. If he votes 3 times, you have to masturbate to that.
Jesus Christ. Yeah, no, she seriously. I remember there's been several times where in our group chat, I will get a new book on Audible and download it, and because we have the same Audible account on both our phones, so maybe she has her notifications turned on for it or something. And then I'll go open the group chat like 20 minutes later, and she will have taken a screenshot and sent it to you guys and be like, "What the fuck, Jared?" And she did that with a Jada Pinkett Smith book. I was surprised she hadn't done it with Queer Mormon Theology yet.
Yeah, I don't know if it's so good to do this. Like one time, one of my friends, I bet him he wouldn't take a poo in his bathtub right before one of his wife's parties, and he did for $100.
Oh God!
And I don't think he should have gotten $100. I think it caused a major problem, and I feel the same thing about getting you to read this stuff. Like maybe we caused a major problem that we shouldn't cause.
Did you try splitting the money with her? Like, no, honey, don't touch that.
They're
Just
divorced now. And
$50. It's okay.
they're divorced now. And if you dead seriously ask him, we kind of wonder if like something didn't change a little that night. And we go, oh man.
Look, the chat is trying to tell us how Mormonism is inherently queer. Charles says Alma is queer because it's technically a woman's name. Starbase says, or no, and then Charles said, stripling wires, queer AF. Starbase said, Josephine sealed to a man, little sus.
I think we could write this book, or we could even do better with it. But
What?
queer just means verb to change, to queer the edges.
Oh, she has a whole monologue in it about the different ways she's going to use the word queer. She's like, it'll describe umbrella. She does say that like LGBTQIA plus whatever is kind of a mouthful. So I'll use queer instead as sort of an umbrella term. This is why it's okay to say queer. We're reclaiming it. Sometimes I'll say queer to describe myself,
victory
or a life experience or a reclaimed word. But oftentimes, and most importantly, I will use the word queer as a verb to describe queering something. And she, honest to God, says the phrase, we can become queer through or we can be made queer through Christ. Like it's something to ascend to.
Well, they literally do. I mean, James Lindsay had those things forever where he'd show again and again that it was like some sort of religious exaltation to arrive at queerness, which could never be arrived at. But also,
do we have anyone in the crowd who wants to become queer today? I do. I accept the spirit of Michel Foucault in my life.
Jared, the queering Southern like, preacher,
puts his hand on their face. I declare you queer. I'm queer. I'm non-binary. Oh, Lordy, Michel Foucault.
What was that channel? That kids channel? I thought it was called "Is It Queer" or something like that. That kids channel who?
Oh yeah.
Who?
I thought that was what it was called.
Is it not even there anymore?
I just asked AI to. This is what I put into AI. Please adapt the Latter-day Saint blessing on the sacrament from a queer perspective based on Blair Osler's book Queer Mormon Theology. So we see what it came up with.
Yes.
Oh God, the eternal parent. We ask thee in the name of thy beloved child to bless and sanctify this bread to the souls of all those who partake of it. May we remember the body of Christ, not only broken for us, but embodied in each of us, in our diversity, our queerness, our sacred worth. May we witness through this act our willingness to take upon us the name of thy child, to always remember them and to keep the commandments which they have given us, especially the commandment to love, that may always have thy spirit be with us. Oh, pretty lame. They did one on the water, adapted. It's the same thing.
That's funny. I gotta go get some ice. I'll be right back.
Wait, the water one is a little bit better. O God, the eternal parent, we ask in the name of thy beloved child to bless and sanctify this water, the souls of all who drink of it. We remember the blood of Christ, not only shed in suffering, but flowing through all creation, through every body, every gender, every orientation. May we witness through this act our commitment to love as Christ loved, radically, inclusively, and without condition. That we always have a spirit to be with us. Amen.
Yeah. Well, using the word queer like that, I was trying to find the channel, but we pulled up that kid before. We reviewed some of his stuff where he can basically talk about how any movie about any sort of change in anybody in any way, or anything that's monster coded, can be queer coded. Which, if you use just the word queer as different or changing, you could turn around and call anything queer in that sense. But yeah, they what's his name? Taylor Petrie, who I found out gets funded by one of the 4 oligarchic families of Colorado to put out his stuff. It was this weird deep dive that I was going on. I don't know if I pulled it up. Maybe I did the other week. These Starkey people and Stryker, the Stryker family. And they're like one of the 4 oligarchic families of Colorado, just like the Pelosi's or the Browns or the Newsoms in California. And they fund Taylor Petrie, who made that Tabernacles of Clay book. But if you read that Tabernacles of Clay book, it's doing that thing that TV show Big Love and those writers tried to do, where they tried to find some solidarity with the queerness of the Mormon polygamy from their time frames and all that sort of stuff, also while condemning it because white supremacy. But at the same time, isn't this kind of queer and queer thinking and queer whatever, and use it to. And I'm guessing that book will get into some of his claims in the Tabernacles of Clay book. But I can't find that channel. But that channel just basically, any monster movie ever you watch, you can just write in queer themes to it. Easy. Mainline churches, a queer sacrament prayer must also include a land acknowledgement. Do you land acknowledgement for the Lamanites? Is that what we should start doing? Like Lamanite land acknowledgements everywhere they go. Like, hey, we want to stop and acknowledge that the Lamanites lived here before us, so we can like become land acknowledgers, but we will only ever acknowledge the Book of Mormon people that lived here before us.
Troy's in the Wasatch Front tonight.
Oh, sweet. Troy's around.
He's all the fucked up in Clearfield.
Did you hear that, Jacob? Jared, we now do land acknowledgements, but we only do land acknowledgements for Lamanites. So we want to acknowledge that this land belonged to the Lamanites before us. Pedro Pascal says you literally can change sex. There are thousands of clinics doing it. Just a couple days ago. I hope that guy just disappears just because I don't like him in movies.
Nice.
I don't care about his opinions. Do you guys see the stuff where Keira Knightley just kind of laughed off
Yes.
the J.K. Rowling thing?
Well, that was a really good answer. Where she's like,
she's
no,
like,
I didn't know about anything. She's like, yeah, wouldn't it be nice if people just got along? Like, and you just see all the blood boiling of all the.
She just laughed it off. It kind of signals like a sea change, which is like this stuff, like the Virginia Project and all these other different places have been showing. Oh, I thought I had multiple different places are showing that the trend of the kids becoming non-binary and trans is extremely dropping off. So the fad is letting off a little bit. Whoa!
Lucky for kids.
Because they don't feel safe anymore in this environment to come out.
Yeah, no, it's they're being oppressed again because the oppression is on the rise.
Oh yeah, I forgot. It always comes back to that every time.
Because everybody was always trans all through history. It's
Keira Knightley, who, by the way, I just love. Pride and Prejudice. It's one of my favorite movies ever, so I adore her. But she is voicing a character in a new Harry Potter animated project, and she, in a recent interview, was asked about J.K. Rowling. And when she responded, it basically seemed like she was rolling her eyes with her entire body.
Saw you're voicing Professor Umbridge in the new Harry Potter audiobooks. I was wondering, are you aware that some fans are calling for a boycott, given J.K. Rowling's ongoing campaign against trans people?
I was not aware of that, no. I'm very sorry. I think we're all living in a period of time right now. We're all going to have to figure out how to live together, aren't we? and we've all got very different opinions. So I hope that we can all find respect.
She was
I like that the reporter calls it a campaign. Like, it's literally just a lady on Twitter. It's a campaign.
Yeah, this is the other one. Yeah, there's multiple different reports showing that it's dipping back off. But as Jared said, I guess that's probably just because they're going back into hiding because of Trump's policies.
Anything is possible when you start with your conclusion. If your conclusion is patriarchy or cis heteronormativity, anything at all that happens, you can blame on that.
2000 Priest says 2005, stop cutting yourselves. 2015, come get sex change surgery. Yeah, people frequently talk about like 100 years from now, when we sit back talking about this time frame, there's going to be a question about how stuff went so nuts. I like to imagine that's true, but that also has to assume that we're not going to go more nuts. It has to assume somewhere down the line we actually get our heads back about ourselves and said, what were we trying to do there?
I think Adam Carolla today, I was listening to him, and he was talking about how enough time has to go by for people to forget that he said anything before anything can change. And he was specifically referencing the peanut allergy thing that came out this week.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
Because and I remember Adam talking about that in the 90s, where he's like, no, I think that the thing with the peanuts is that we're freaking out about peanuts and we're not exposing babies to peanuts. And kids need to be exposed to danger, and that's how they become safe from it. And he's been screaming about it for 30 years. And
You think
CNN's like, hey, it turns out that give your babies peanuts.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You think women in the workplace was bad? Look what happened when we put them in science.
Well, I mean, you want to see something else that he's been talking about for 30 years, but let me see if I can find it here. Also, there was that thing that went to the Supreme Court this week, that one of those trans kids who was trying to fight to be on the team now wants to pull out of it. Like, I don't care anymore.
Yeah, it's
And
in
the
Idaho.
Supreme Court's making them do it.
Yeah,
Saying, you got to do it.
We still need an answer to the question you raised.
Yeah. Check this out. Hold on, let me get to the spot. 30 years ago, you said 30 years ago, Adam Carolla was pointing it out, but look what else 30 years ago.
6.6 million tons of concrete, harnessing nearly 1 trillion gallons of water.
16,000 men spent half a decade building it. They lived in shacks and tents along its base without drinking water, toilets, or shelter from the desert heat.
More than 100 of these men gave their lives to this dam. Their bodies are paved over in its walls. Its 2 million kilowatt capacity powers the greatest city in the world, Las Vegas.
And just as these heroic men did more than 60 years ago, we are building a dam.
Feminization that is flooding this country.
A dam to stop the river of estrogen that is drowning us with political correctness.
A dam to...
Can you believe that's been coming out of Jimmy King's
I know. This is tragic.
urinate off of when we're really drunk.
We call this dam the
Man Show.
Even Dr.
Now,
Drew
when
asked,
did
like,
the
what
Man
was...
Show first air? That's the question. Because that is from the pilot.
Yeah.
And the pilot was shot for ABC.
Yes.
So it was June 1999. So
Yeah.
this would have been a year earlier,
Yes.
which would have been 98.
Yeah.
And then we would have conceived and written this before that.
Oh, you were talking about
obviously.
this shit when we were doing Loveline for
Yeah.
sure before that.
Yeah. So now we're there.
Yeah.
Okay. But somebody saw it coming.
But who?
The guy who everyone says, shut up, don't listen to him, or you're wrong.
Right. Without being critical of Jimmy, how would he?
I remember when Carolla released his book, In 50 Years We'll All Be Chicks. I was kind of confused by it. I was like, what's he saying? Like, I mean, it's so long ago, but I was like, what's he talking about? And then,
Look at this now. Would he feel I was wrong to have said that? Would he say things have changed? I've changed my. How would he look at his position now versus then? I've matured. You know what I mean?
Yeah, I think he would say he's evolved or something.
Yeah.
I guess.
Would he
Even
say
gay.
that was a false premise? It just didn't exist, and it no longer, because that's what a lot of the pushback is now. Oh, it's just a talking point. Far right. Blah blah blah. Yeah.
Well,
you were far right then, right?
I
25 years ago.
I
Like 70,
highlighted
almost 30 years ago.
That's what I said
Jesus
5 minutes
Christ.
ago. Female. This is according to this article, but this is kind of what we're dealing with. Female.
So he's talking about, Corolla was talking about that the feminization, the great feminization article. Did you guys read that at all?
Yeah,
What'd you think of that article?
really good, very succinct. But it's one of those things where it's like, well, I mean, I'm like, I'll take it that people are that a woman is actually coming out and saying it, you know. But it's also kind of like, duh.
Yeah. We've been saying this for a minute, but I didn't actually realize that a whole president of Harvard had been ran out of his job for the Demore thing way before the Demore thing.
Yeah.
All he had done is exactly a Demore thing. It was like 2006 or 7 that she says in the article. I'll see if I pull the article up here, but I won't read it. Oh yeah, I can. Here it is. This is the article, The Great Feminization by Helen Andrews. And this professor of Harvard, what's his name? Skinner or something like that. Professor Skinner Summers. Yeah, they canceled him in a feminine way, as they say, but he just did the exact thing. They were asking why there weren't very many women in MIT or in those types of biologists and types of things. And he just answered, well, on the extreme ends of the ability, there's more men, and then preference, just the stuff exactly that Demore said. Yeah. And he got ran out of a job in Harvard, and does it say the year right there? 2000, it was like 2005. So that was like way before then. It was already kind of going on.
It was just, maybe they don't like science as much, generally speaking.
Yeah, it's all it is. Well, there are.
Fuck you! I like science, and my sister likes science. Hey, how would you feel if you didn't eat breakfast?
Yeah, there is also, and he noticed, a biological truth that at the extreme end of hyper supersonic mathematical cycles, guys who I can't do math with at all, most of those are men, and there are some women in that. But then even if there are women in that level, they tend to not care about it as much as those autists, you would call them. But yeah, go ahead.
It reminds me of an argument I had with my mom a couple months ago. She was reminding me of it was something that happened when I was a teenager. We had this second or first counselor in the bishopric, and my mom's one of her friends, or like her best friend in the ward. She was in charge of kind of some Cub Scout stuff, and she was going to do the Pinewood Derby, put it on. And she wanted to make it to where there's no competition and there's no winners or losers, and then everyone gets a trophy at the end. And the first counselor put the kibosh on that. And so, no, that's dumb. We're not doing that. And they had gotten a big fight over it. And eventually he apologized to her or whatever. But my mom hated him ever since because he did it to her best friend. And I was like, yeah, but he was right, Mom. And she's like, nuh-uh. He told her that that's like Satan's plan. I was like, maybe a little over the top, but still right. We hated participation trophies. I remember the first boat regatta that I had. I won it. I actually won it. And it's not like that impressive because you just blow into a straw. And I played saxophone, so I guess I had stronger lungs than the other kids at the time. They were more worked out or something. And I was so stoked, and they had me a trophy, and then they had everyone else a trophy. I was like, oh, fuck this. Like, the participation trophy has become a boomer meme at this point, but you know that the first ever participation trophy was thought of by a woman.
Yeah, sure. I'm sure it was. But I don't know. I didn't care about trophies when I was a kid. They just keep giving them to us, like each soccer thing and stuff. I didn't even think about it that much.
No, I know
I'd take it home and I'd play with them. I'd play like on my toys with them, like, oh, it's a figurine. Just start playing.
Well, every sport I ever played, they gave me a trophy. Like my baseball teams in the first 3 years that I played baseball as a kid, we won the whole championship and they gave us trophies. And I was like, okay, that makes sense. Like 8 weeks later, the trophy was just busted and on the ground.
Yeah,
And I
and
didn't
they
really
all
care that
destroyed.
much. But then then I was playing basketball and my team fucking sucked. I was the best player on my team and I wasn't very good. And then we got trophies then too. And I was like, oh yeah, trophies don't mean anything.
Yeah. Starbase Collab asks, so will eating orders be the new craze again or cutting? There's no going back. There's got to be the next thing. And you want to know what I predicted is?
What?
Eating with hands. That's what they're all going to, all the kids are going to start eating with their hands, eating rice with their hands.
I told him Christ maxing will be the next craze.
It could be that. I saw some people, there's actually a channel talking about Amish maxing out there. It really is saying like, come over to the Amish people because they assign you a wife and all that sort of stuff. You're an incel, blah, blah, blah. Anyway, back to the feminization article, just a couple of the points that she said. I don't know if this is 100% true. It's a little bit true, but she says the entirety of wokeness is just feminized thinking.
I believe it.
Yeah. She says, well, because so much of it, well, I guess you could say Foucault was a feminized thinker, you know what I mean? But so much of it comes from Foucault, you know what I mean? But yeah, she just says it's basically all of it. But the area where she definitely talks about where it does freak me out too, just as much as any, is in the rule of law. Because in the rule of law, I don't know that men are the greatest at it either, but like the whole like fantasy, I've seen some dissident right people talk about that the 12 Angry Man thing is a fantasy. And the point that they're trying to make is that there's not going to be anybody who cuts through just seeing the identity of the person and making a gut decision off of that and just actually reading the facts and being rational about something.
Maybe not purely, but
but I guess that's maybe horseshoe that they're arguing that on both sides and stuff. But you would hope to be in a society where you got autists in there who are just saying like, I don't care what the identity. This is what the facts say. You know, we need autistic juries.
Okay, you can tell it's very difficult for people to cut through identity by the verdict in the OJ case.
Yeah. Yeah, and that's what their argument is that if stuff just becomes more and more feminine, could you imagine if any one of us were standing in front of Ketanji Brown Jackson and we're getting ruled on, like, do you think that lady's going to give you a fair cut just by?
God, no. She's retarded.
She argued this last week that blackness should be considered a disability.
She sounds like a KKK talking. She sounds like Uncle Ruckus.
I think it's like if Nick Fuente said that would have made the front page of New York Times. But a black Supreme Court justice lady says it, and people are like, "What? Don't you know about historic racism? Do you even know the history of America?"
Did she have an Uncle Ruckus moment where she like got a paternity or like a 23andMe and found out that she's black and she was depressed about it? I love to be a Supreme Court justice, but I'm a nigga.
Yeah, she got that was such ridiculous argumentation. She's just doing whatever she could do to hold on to being able to district around race, which is outrageous. Like when I listened to a bunch of the ruling points on that subject, and Kendi sounded like an idiot when we first started listening to Kendi. And I knew a lot of because of my profession, all that stuff. I had read a lot of the stuff around the specific act of the 1964 Civil Rights Act. But some of the things that slipped through, like people were freaking out about, like the affirmative action in government contracts, that slipped through in 1965 in like another like little thing tied to the Civil Rights Act in 1964. It's like addendums that got added onto it. And whatever this districting thing is that says we need to redistrict, it's Kendiism. It's Kendiism got written into that stuff in 65.
Well,
it's just
like,
go ahead.
That's weird just because, like, you know, people keep pointing out there are 60 black congressmen and only 15 of them live in majority black voting districts.
Mm-hmm.
So 75% of the black Congress people were voted in by majority white or majority not black anyway, but that means majority white. Like, so do you even need it? Like, there's clearly not a racism problem, like not the way you guys frame it, because if this was the case, we should only expect majority black districts to elect black congressmen. 75% of them aren't that, so we're fine. Turns out, and you think that'd be good news? Like, oh, look at that! Look at all those white people happy to vote for black people. Nope.
I could like listen to Flip, like just like 3 hours of Flip doing like people imagining people thinking something should be good news, and it's just like, oh, good news, oh, great news. Like just have Flip be like the person who should be how you should hear the news and stuff. It turns out that the black people aren't getting murdered en masse by police officers. Good news, everybody.
Good news. You actually don't have to have the talk with your kid that when a cop pulls him over, he shouldn't lunge for the cop's gun, because he probably won't do that by default.
Just do like 3 hours of those good news things and have Flip go, that's good news. This is good news. And then just like the actual reaction, and it's 2020 rioting.
Good news, Candace. Israel doesn't control everything. I have good news.
What? Have you seen this? Let me see if I can get.
Yeah, I'm gonna get going soon. So show me
No, no. Oh, I could get you sucked in. I know I could.
No, don't do it.
Did you see this? Look at this. There's Candace.
Yeah, that's good. They just need to change the little guy to Candace Owens.
I don't think we need to listen to Arisa send it, but we basically said what she said. It's just stupid. But you don't think I could get you sucked in? I know I could get you sucked in.
No, give me one more thing, and then I'm gonna go to bed.
Well, two more things, but one of them we could do really fast.
It's like talking to my kid.
Place, Flip, place.
There's a lot of problems with natural selection, though, right? Like, natural selection doesn't always lead us to populating our genes, right? Mm-hmm. Like, we do things that cause us to die out.
That's true, yes.
Right. That causes a lot of problem for like homosexuality. Like, do you think homosexuality is like a genetic like defection as an atheist?
I have no comment on that.
Okay, but do you realize why the issue comes to it, right? Because you're saying all natural selection leads to all of us doing everything we're doing, and when I bring the comment up about sometimes natural selection leads us to do things that are not good, they'll just say, yeah, and that's weeding people out.
I mean, yes, homosexuality means you cannot procreate.
Yeah, so is natural selection trying to get rid of those people? As an atheist, you'd have to say yes.
I mean, yeah, I guess so.
Okay. Yeah.
But you can say those people just don't want to procreate at all. It's their personal decision.
Well, but you reject free will.
Yeah,
so they can't choose. So natural selection is working to weed those people out. It's not a position you probably want to hold. But you will have to as an atheist. There's a lot of problems with natural selection.
Did I say your head?
Yes.
I bet you he's starting a channel now. I can keep you all night, every Thursday night, all night.
I tried listening to the extended version of this, and I just couldn't take it. But like,
Hayden's gonna be the new Charlie Kirk, man.
No, not if he keeps arguing with these dopes.
What?
Listen, like this is dope versus dope, obviously. But like this whole thing where it's like, I don't know this. The thing that drives me nuts is where I goddamn know, Troy can probably attest to it. I know that Hayden has been exposed to the explanation for why this is a terrible argument. I know he's at least aware of it, but like all apologists do, he will just ignore that for the rest of his life and keep pushing this retarded take. Like, I don't want to do the thing, but straw man, that's the straw man. Like, no, that's not how biological evolution works. Like, biological evolution has an explanation for gays and how that is actually adaptive. It's not that crazy, and it's in a book that was published 50 fucking years ago. You can learn about it, you know, but
so I don't read any non-degenerate books for the time being.
No, that's a degenerate book. Book.
What's the explanation between
selfish gene.
How in the selfish? I understand the main idea of the selfish gene, and it sounds pretty intuitive for the most part. But
kin selection.
Yeah, I know. So kin selection, how does that account for like homosexuality being genetic?
So the whole thing with kin selection is that, like, you know, because we'll kind of back up a little bit. We were all taught evolution badly and wrong.
Well,
Like,
yeah.
you can kind of make the excuse that, like, well, you're simplifying it for kids, but we're taught that it's like about the survival of the fittest as individuals. And what Richard Dawkins broke through, his giant breakthrough, was explaining how, like, no, the selective pressure is on the level of genes, right? And since, like, you know,
So you're like so much
you-
percent likely
yeah.
to save your kid, more a
your
little bit
dad
less.
your dad is 50% of your genes, your brother is 50% of your genes, you know, and your brother's kids are each 1/4 of your genes. And so 3 of your brother's kids, all 3 together, account for 1.5 copies of your genes, you know.
Mhm.
And so if you sacrifice yourself to save 3 nephews, that makes selective sense because you're saving 1.5 copies of your genes, right? That's the super simplistic version of it. But basically, like, yeah, it doesn't break evolution to think that, like, somebody taking themselves out of reproduction, because, like, one thing they do is they free up resources for family members, they free up resources for relatives, you know. And so by taking themselves out of the equation, they can actually increase the survivability chances of their brothers' offsprings, of their siblings' offsprings, etc. You know,
But
that's
so
that's the
math,
gist of it.
would the math on that mean that there would be less and less gay people each generation?
No, not necessarily. It's like,
I mean, I guess there's more and more people each generation.
yeah, like, because it's kind of like, you know, because, like, by this Roger's like, well, why do women even go through menopause? Like, aren't they taking themselves out of the reproductive gene pool by not being able to reproduce anymore? Like, no, because the whole idea with grandmas, like, you know, there's the theory that, like, 'cause, like, every other primate, like, they don't have menopause. In fact, like, humans are like the weird mammal that goes through menopause. And they think evolutionarily that the idea is that, like, women get to an age where they pull themselves out of reproduction and then they become the caregivers while younger, healthier women are able to do more work to keep the whole tribe, you know, alive.
Would it? I mean, could it also be explained that, like, childbirth is a lot more taxing on a human body because we're more developed when we're born, and
I mean,
giving
that
childbirth when you're 60 would
that
probably
might
just
be
fucking
part of
kill
it.
you.
But even then, like, because that whole thing is like, well, why do we do, like, why did it take 18 years for a baby to become mature? You know, isn't that natural selection selecting this out? Like, no, not in the big picture. You know,
I do get it when
like,
you have a kid. You're
Aiden
like,
has
"Oh,
this extremely simplistic view of, like, you know, like, well, you have to be stronger and faster and have sharper teeth, and that's what evolution is. Like,
There's
no,
also the thing that it's just like sperm and eggs. Like, it's why men are cannon fodder and women are treated preciously in our gynocentric societies, not the other way around. Like, you only need so many men to
sperm is like tinfoil and eggs are like diamond." You know,
yeah,
it's so much easier to
but
come
it's also just true, like, if you the old, like, a thought experiment that if you only had, like, you had some bunker and society blew up and you had like 100 women, 100 men, but there's only 20 spaces, how many who should all go in? And the answer is you're supposed to take way more women in than men.
Yeah.
Type deal. But so it's just also true of, like, why on different bell curves men are kind of like what nature experiments with. So there's way more dummies and way more smarties, and it's because the same thing that Peterson always points out, that more women procreate than men throughout all history, almost at a 2-to-1 rate. It's just, that's just how it goes. I mean, even just like my situation is kind of just the cannon fodder of the it just didn't line up, that guy didn't land on an egg or something like that, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
But it's just what happens. But nipples are nice, as Risto. I guess that, you know, that's why people are like women more. But and then women might become more lesbian because that's more about care, and it's all about caring for women. You know what I mean? It's
Yeah.
gynocentric, just like everything's egg centric. Everything's take care of the egg. Everything's take care of the woman.
Isn't there
But,
like
like, that's the
isn't there like
thing,
a
like,
decent amount of evidence to, like, suggest that homosexuality is more nurture and less nature? Like, because
I will say the bigotry out loud, just like you're saying. I do not think there's any sort of proof that it is that it is maybe there's like a predisposition a little bit, but
Because
I
I'm
definitely
open.
I don't think there's a short. I don't think there's a single specific answer.
I'm very
Like,
open to it being genetic. That was the argument that I believed for the longest time. It's just the more you.
I believe that not.
I think it. Yeah, like resources. It has to be some nature. Like like
There's got to be a
I don't think
predisposition
it's
that
hardwired.
that you could be susceptible to it, but I don't think it's
It's
don't
like
think
there's
it's
all
nature that
kinds-
you for sure become that way.
There are all kinds of genetic effects of just all over the place. So that's not really that crazy. But yeah, no,
I think sexuality, just like with fetishes, just like is like language. I've said it before. Language, we are all born hardwired for language. If we were born in China, all of us would be speaking Chinese right now. And if we're born here, we're all speaking English. And that doesn't even matter like what sort of human you are, you're going to be genetically predisposed to be able to do that. But then the software comes in with that stuff. But then it again becomes genetic. It gets locked in. You get locked in at now you can only have this one natural first language somewhere around like puberty or something like that.
I'm guessing something kind of like psychopathy. Like, I don't think that people are necessarily born psychopaths. Or like maybe some are, because that's things like I wouldn't rule out like no, some people are just fucking gay right from the get-go. Like they're gay from the womb. Probably some people at least. I also think a lot of people like no epigenetic effects, environment, all that crap. That people can become gay later. But like just to repeat myself, like it just bothers me. Like I know that Hayden will be exposed to the arguments against his position in this, and he will just ignore them. And I just think back to like Jacob with his like 10 challenges for naturalistic explanation for the Book of Mormon, and Troy was just like 1 2 3 4, like bang 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 bang, here you go, these are naturalistic explanations to the Book of Mormon. And Jacob just might as well have just closed his eyes and covered his ears and yelled la la la, I can't hear you, because he just goes right back to like nobody can answer these. Like no, somebody answered them and you didn't even acknowledge
I feel like
but what if
you
they
can
do
make
like
a bell curve? You can make a bell curve meme at this. And you got Jacob right up at the top of the bell curve saying like, "There's no explanation for the Book of Mormon. No, blah 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 blah. This is naturalistic. Blah blah blah." And then you get Troy on the high end of the bell curve, or on the, the high IQ end, saying some dude wrote it, and then me on the other end being like, "Some dude wrote it."
Yeah.
Well, that brings it all around to the subject of the debate all came up again because he went on with Steve Pinecker and Colby was able to bring him on. I think Colby wanted us to mention that we all looked it up and from all things looked at right now, it does look like it is Jacob who is currently the one, or maybe always was, ducking that Book of Mormon debate, which I thought he would take. I was actually surprised that he wouldn't take it, but it looks like he's going to be showing up on campus with Hayden. So all Colby would have to do is show up on campus, right? And then,
that'd be a fun test.
But
that.
I don't know. Were we supposed to say anything more specific about that? It seemed Colby was
no. He just said, if you guys talk about it, here's the full transcript, and sent that to me.
Yeah, that's right. But like, I mean, because Jacob
has it now. I asked Jacob
because he didn't directly say no. He just said, "Okay, I want to talk about this," and Colby's like, "Well, no, we were talking about the other thing." Because because that's the way we remembered it. It was like, "Hey, I'll argue Book of Mormon if you argue
tit for tat, yeah."
But like, it wasn't like that. It was like, "Hey, I'll argue Book of Mormon stuff," and Jacob's like, "Okay, the debate is trans stuff," and Colby's like, "No."
He was trying to. Well, like Kobe's view on it is like, I talk about Mormon shit. I don't really talk about trans shit, so I want to argue Mormon shit. So I get that. I would love to. And he asked me because I tried to kind of say, I was like, "You guys want to come on?" Chris had the idea they could come on here and talk about it because it's like
not with me and Flip. We'd probably be too big a dickheads, but Jared could do a good job.
Yeah, like 10 people watching and they could have a discussion, hash it out. Jacob only likes.
And then if either one of them takes a big L, they could have it buried and hidden.
Yeah. But
it'll never happen. But if we could do a thing where we host debates where it's just Marty and Morgan, and we just go into the comments and aren't on the screen. But that could work. We just have the nice porch timers.
Yeah, well,
moderate the debate.
he asked me, he was like, "What's the motive behind? Like, what's the motive for you guys on it?" I was like, "Oh, not much of a motive. I guess the
What's our motive for anything?
I know.
We want to see both of you guys lose.
Yeah, I know. That's what I told
In
him.
two different debates.
I was like, honestly, I'd see you guys both kick each other's asses. I think Jacob would kick your ass on the trans debate, and I think you'd kick his ass on the Book of Mormon debate.
Yeah.
So everybody comes away with a W.
Choice at the end of the Pentecost interview, Jacob claimed Colby called him a bigot. That is a lie. Yeah, I never heard him say that. I wouldn't call Jacob a bigot.
I would say I don't know. It's on with RFM and RFM.
Yeah, I don't know. I can see it happening. But I haven't watched as much of this shit.
Yeah, like I mean, it wouldn't be completely out of character, I don't think. But did I actually hear him say that? I can't say that I have.
I don't know if he did it. I mean, I would hope Jacob would do it because I actually think Jacob could do maybe one of the better defenses of the Book of Mormon, just in the sense. But I think he'll do the thing that Flip always urges him to do that he doesn't want to do, because Jacob definitely wants to hold on to rationality when he gets into those debates. He's which is a good thing. You know, he's stern and like saying he wants to argue in like the Socratic way and all that sort of stuff.
Well, he wants to hang on to materialism. That's just tricky.
But he does have to. The reason he will debate Trent Horn and not Colby on it is because they already have the shared presupposition that we're talking about a magical world.
Yeah.
You know, and Flip is the one who will always say, well, I can just save this stuff, just say have faith, and then, you know. But if Jacob just wants to default to using that stuff and maybe some argumentation with rationality, he could probably do as good as a job as could be done. You know.
Yeah.
But he'd have to default. He'd have to revert back to faith. You know, he'd have to.
Yeah, but I don't like. That's the thing. Like, because now Hayden's getting into apologetics. And it's just like it's such a dead end. Like, I really get. I mean, 25 years almost of following Christian apologetics, and I really am to the point now where like, I think that if you get into it far enough, you become a conscious liar. You know, like maybe you justify it to yourself somehow, but like I just think about William Lane Craig. I was just listening to a thing where Bart Ehrman was talking about, you know, stuff that William Lane Craig says about Bart Ehrman, and like Bart Ehrman just has to call him out. It's like Craig has, like, I have debated Craig. I've seen other people debate Craig. They have pointed out why X argument doesn't work, and he just keeps repeating it, you know. And it's like, and you know he's smart enough, you know he understands what he's doing, you know, and like at that point, like, okay, you're just a liar, you're just a hack, you know. And that's why I'm like, again, I'm third time repeating myself, but like with Hayden, I've said it with Jacob too. Like, you guys have heard answers to these, and you have not even dealt with them. You just keep reverting to the same dumb argument, you know. Like Hayden brings up fine tuning here. I know because I remember Troy laid out all kinds of reasons why fine tuning is a bad argument. They never responded. They're never going to touch that. They just keep flipping back.
Aiden already went to a fine tuning argument in one of these.
Yeah, no, it's this one. Yeah, I listened to the longer version of it, like a few minutes of it.
But one of the reasons, I guess
one more thing about this Hayden thing, because I'm going to bail soon for real. But like,
I got one final thing I'm making you sit through. But go ahead.
All right. But because there's one of these things, like, you know, you've heard me say a lot of times, that like whenever I hear somebody say, I don't eat food with chemicals in it, like what I hear is, I don't know what the words food or chemical mean. and then Hayden in this thing says atheist science, and like whenever I hear somebody say atheist science or atheistic science, like I have the same thoughts, like, okay, you don't know what atheist or science mean. Like if you use that term, it just means that you don't know what either of those words mean.
But one of the reasons I thought this channel might work for it is, number one, we don't advertise out. We wouldn't advertise out. We wouldn't clip chimp it in any sort of thing like that. We're not clout sharks at all in any way, shape, or form.
Not even clout guppies.
Both of them could risk taking an L, and it would be buried here. Like Mormons hardly watch this, and the ex-Mormon world hardly watches it and all that sort of stuff. But it should be said that Colby ostensibly did say yes to the trans debate. So he's the one who would do any part of it now, and Jacob's the one backing out. So it's completely basically on Jacob at this point. But also for Colby, like, I understand that that's a risk, and if he wants to hold on to rationality, he might, if he doesn't know like how rabid that the people who go after J.K. Rowling, or that we just said that guy there said Graham Linham, I can't ever say his last name, the
Linham.
Father Brown guy, should be thrown into jail. That they get crazy and rabid and they're nuts, and they could get crazy and rabid and nuts over on Mormon discussions or anything like that. But over here, you could possibly say stuff or hold to some sort of things that we know that a queer community would rage about. Like the thing that you don't realize that Keira Knightley is hated now by some raging queer people just for saying that sentence. But he could possibly say it here and be perfectly buried and hidden away from that community that might get rabid about it too. And so he'd have a better chance to debate that thing on a rational level than saying every single thing in the queer community you're supposed to say to remain a proper ally, you know. And then, you know, Jacob could, you know, not many Mormons are going to like come watch this, you know what I mean? So
No.
But and then I think Jared's a better neutral option in that sense than even maybe say Steve, just because Steve's pretty good at being neutral too. But I think Jared would be really good in the sense of he'd probably side with one or the other on both of their different subjects, but try to stay neutral on it and not butt in or be a dickhead to either one of them, and is likable. So this would be the place for them to guess testing ground, right? Testing ground. All we care about here is the truth. That's why we get spit out.
Jacob mentioned
He
mentioned, I don't know, like I say, he really wants to have like a formal debate, and he's like, would it be a debate or a discussion? I was like, I think probably just a discussion, like what we always do. And like, but he would want to prove me wrong, right? And I was like, yeah. And so he's trying to say that would be a debate, and he's like, debates take me a long time to prepare for, and I'm currently preparing for a debate on a really big platform. And I was like, well, okay, whatever.
Got bigger clouts to chase.
But he also said on the Pinecker interview he's not interested in debate, he's interested in discussion. It's like, well, okay, so have the discussion here. You know what I mean? But
he didn't outright say he wasn't interested in it. That's just what I gleaned.
Well, he's an apologist. He's a master at Weasley language. Like, that plausible deniability. You know, you always leave that out.
Star Wars Cola says, I'm really excited if Ward Radio has Craig's Reptiles on to talk about evolution. Is that happening? Anyway.
Clint's Reptiles? Okay, what's the one more thing?
Well, I thought you'd get all worked up on this, and so I want to just
I am. I'm just really tired, so it's hard for me to get even more worked up.
Well, I didn't want you to be worked up, and I wanted to leave you nice and calm and relaxed afterwards. So I thought I'd calm you down.
I haven't seen this yet, but I saw you guys talking
about the movement.
Oh, so you already saw what the worst part about it is.
No, I haven't seen any of this. I just heard you guys talking about it.
Yeah, but you heard what I said was my least favorite part about it.
Yeah.
But I
don't have a frame of reference yet.
Of things, but one of them, we had each other and we had the music. On Saturday, 7 million Americans found each other at the NGO Kings protest, and today, thanks to Jeff Daniels, we've got the music.
This is a song I wrote called Crazy World, which is how I cope.
Okay, let's hear.
If you don't know, this is Jeff Daniels. Jeff Daniels was in the movie. What was this?
Dumb and Dumber.
Yeah.
I live.
It's that Jeff
3
Daniels.
yards away from the Dumb and Dumber apartment building.
That's
really?
True. Yeah.
It's almost next door. There's a little house between my apartment and that apartment.
Wait, was a lot of that? Was more of that shot in Utah?
The original one, a lot of it was shot in Utah. Yeah.
Oh man, I need to tell my dad that it's one of his favorite movies. One of my dad's favorite movies is Sandlot, and that's in Utah. So we went and found Vincent Drugstore.
Did you go to? You went to Flip's Booze place, right?
Yeah,
it's right there.
It's across
is
the
it?
street.
You saw it.
Oh my God, I'm gonna have to tell my dad that, because we also tried to find the Sandlot, but it's completely landlocked. There's just houses around the whole thing, and they've got like signs in their front yard: "Do not come through my yard to find the Sandlot."
When I was a kid, Vincent's Drugstores was basically a time capsule. It looked like that. Like they didn't Like they had to, take a few products off the shelf and put up stuff that looked more like 1950s. But like the building and the layout and everything was basically like original. They had to do very little to Vincent Drugs in Sandlot to make that look old school. And I remember, even as a kid, I remember thinking like, wow, this is like another time.
Christopher says, I grew up going to the Sandlot swimming pool. Some of their houses, I looked up some of the houses. Some of the houses are up over there in the east, over where some of our friends lived. That place where I went dressed as a what did I go? I went dressed as a gluten, so I dressed up as like a white ghost with like a black eye holes. Like, I'm gluten. Woo!
I've seen a young girl smiling at something he just said. I watched him fall into her pretty green eyes. His cheeks turned Valentine red.
You gotta watch for the amount of times he forgets the lyrics
I've
and
seen
then
an
pauses.
old man walking.
He stops and looks at her. Man,
Is this on MSNBC?
Yeah.
With his wife by his side. I watched him read.
How can you be like? My answer forever to any news station ever would be no to this, no matter like how.
I just think about the 9/11, the Tower to Heaven episode of South Park.
Yeah.
Where were you when they built the ladder to heaven?
Gavin McInnes has this bit that he does called "Celebrities Being Applauded for Mundane Stories."
Oh, that is good.
And it's just like one of them was Al Pacino talking about how he got a role. Like, yeah, this chick, she knew me, and she's like, I got this movie that's like, it's made for you, you got to do it. And it was this movie. And everybody like applauded, like it was this profound story. And it's like, the story is just Al Pacino got a role once. That was it. That was the story. That's not interesting. You're not interesting. It's just you're like a woman who everybody laughs at her stupid jokes. And so everybody says that everything you say is the most interesting thing in the world. And so now your interesting bone has atrophied, or muscle has atrophied, and you can't be interesting anymore. It's impossible. And so people applauded this Jeff Daniels song. I'm sure all the people he showed, that's brilliant. He should do more of a twangy country guy voice.
It's crazy world, man. Like everybody's got Selma envy, and they just need, nobody's putting out Simon and Garfunkel anymore. So we need.
They imagine that Donald
we need
Trump,
this guy to do it.
They imagine that Donald Trump hears it at 2 a.m. in the White House, and the next morning he wakes up. He's like, "I'm resigning."
He has a Grinch moment. His Grinch
I'm rebuilding the East Wing.
His Grinch heart.
I'll be gone by Tuesday. I'm sorry.
Look how he's looking at her.
Your hand.
At MSNBC, that could be a sexual harassment charge. Yeah.
Have you ever had somebody like show you a song they wrote?
Well,
and then they do that
no,
while
not
they're
to
playing
me,
the
they
song.
did.
They just will look at you every now and then.
I've seen them do it to girls.
Do not what?
I've seen them do it to girls before.
Like, stop looking in my eyes. It's you're not singing to me. You're showing me a song.
Damned if I didn't cry. This crazy world's gone crazy.
He keeps looking at
Who
her.
am I to judge? Nice to know the world.
Look how he's sitting.
I
can't play guitar like that.
There's someone
sit like that, let alone play guitar like that.
My alpha nads would be squashed.
Out there still making love.
Play a D now. Maybe like a D and then a G.
And if you do a D, you can do the weird little flourish on the E string like that. I bet
Whoa,
you
like a D suspended fourth. Whoa!
Fuck yeah!
Wow! I guess it's not D because
look right here. You forgot the words.
I've seen a dog's tail wagging.
An extra.
I've seen a grandchild run.
Yeah, it was just that one measure. Was 6'4". That was all that happened right there.
Just... breaking dawn and 100,000 setting suns.
Is he doing like an affect with his accent?
Yeah.
This
crazy world's gone crazy.
Oh yeah, man, I'm crazy.
I've seen a
man.
door held open. I've seen strangers shaking hands.
Watch us get copyright struck for this.
Probably.
I've seen a kiss from that old flame she missed last a little longer than planned. This crazy world's gone crazy.
Did a duet with him and Boy.
Crazy World's Gone Crazy.
It sounds like it really sounds like a Simpsons song.
On that. Yeah,
like a Simpsons song of a stupid celebrity singing a stupid song trying to impersonate a profound country line.
This reminds me of like Ricky Gervais, like David Brent.
Yeah.
It's that level.
It makes me think of Family Guy back when it was funny. Brian had a book that he wrote called Faster Than the Speed of Love. And that's what this makes me think of.
He grew up in Michigan. Is that a Michigan accent?
Yeah. That deep
full of hate. There's someone out there still making love.
Someone out there still making lyrics. Should we call that singing in cursive? Is this old man cursive?
Yeah, it's fucking Towns Van Zandt right here. Holy shit.
I like when it goes to the musical thing, which is exactly the same as the verse thing, but,
Troy,
but it takes extra thought.
Troy says, "Is there a version of Poe's Law for bad entertainment?"
Risa says he did a movie about the UP. Well, there you go, the Upper Peninsula.
I've seen a prayer get answered.
Oh, it's still going.
He's got three verses of the exact same length, exact same melody.
I'm proud to say I've seen
no bridge.
The Milky Way winking at the man in the moon.
Oh yeah, that was suspended.
I've seen a dozen roses.
I can't wait for the suspended.
I've seen a heart on a sleeve. I've seen enough to know what I.
Because he's rich and stuff. This is probably like a $30,000 Martin D.
Yeah, sure, but like he's singing about this crazy. Like he says, the crazy world's going crazy, but he doesn't sing anything about crazy stuff.
But this is to help.
He's just like,
to help you.
Here's all this awesome stuff. Yeah,
this is to help you.
He's like, my life is beautiful, but man, yours probably sucks.
But like the song is literally in C major. That's like the most basic thing.
Not when he's doing it.
No, what I still believe.
The C. He goes to
this crazy world's gone crazy.
Yeah, D. No.
When he does the D.
It's a D shit. What is that on the fifth fret?
Is it on the wait? 1,
If it's
3, 4. It's on the fifth. He's on the seventh. No, he's on the. He's playing that in B, man. If he's capoed on the fourth, he's playing it in B.
Is it the fourth fret? Oh, I thought it was the fifth fret.
Yeah, so he's playing it in B, and when he hits that D, it's like a F sharp.
Oh, in a world full of hate, there's someone out there. There's someone out there.
When he does the C shape, he's hitting E.
There's someone out there.
That's a little different.
That. We all needed that.
We
all needed that. This is a news show,
Any
everybody.
reaction from the crew? That's awesome. I love.
Call him down. Hey, will you come down to the news station and play your fucking shitty song?
Anyway, do the Harry Dunn shitting thing. Just do it. Make the sound. Oh, please.
I don't have the video of it, and that one we probably would.
No, I'm saying that's
you can make it.
That's what you say.
Oh, that's what he does at the end.
After
you want to.
All right, now do your Harry Dunn.
Now do the Harry Dunn. Yeah.
That made me laugh.
Anyway, now you can sleep. Now you can sleep better.
I had that.
This whole thing, like, there's the left is trying to out retard themselves.
I know. I
They're
was
like,
shocked that
this
they
is
cared about
literally
this.
what he's doing to the White House. Like it's called a renovation. Like, get over it. You know, I mean, he's paying for all of it. It's all donor money. Like, he's paying for most of it. The rest is getting covered by donors. It's gonna be there after he's long out of the White House. You know, like, and just
that
one
East
like,
Wing was built in 42.
Well,
not,
like,
not 200 years ago.
And like FDR put a swimming pool in it. Richard Nixon put a bowling alley in it. Barack Obama put a
Do you know what the
basketball
East
court in
Wing
it.
was used for?
It was just
Businesses.
I don't know.
It was offices, wasn't it?
It was where the first lady's office was. It's like nothing. Like, they don't do anything in the East Wing.
Yeah.
Well, now you got the first ever first lady in office who gets into the White House. Like, I do not want to live in this shithole. Take me back to my estate.
I mean, has there been like something released on what it's supposed to look like? He isn't doing
I
like
think
some
I'd
Trump
seen it,
gaudy
yeah.
thing, is he?
No, it's all in style. Like, it's just gonna be a big ballroom. I don't know. It's like, I don't know. Like, but it really is that anything he does, like literally anything he does, they will find a way to hate it. It's like, come on. This is like not
been
even a big deal.
It's been a while since I've been shocked by people spurging out over something Trump did. But this one, I was like, wait, really? Like, really? This is like Obama wearing a tan suit level of stupid.
Well, okay. And then the stupider thing, without saying the name, one of the lobster lefties in the lobster group, like, you saw it, Jared, who said that, like, there's no leftism on TV. Like,
Oh God.
like there's like, I mean, there's really nothing left of mainstream on TV. I mean, you guys, it's just like, that's one of those things where, like, there's no way you believe that. There's no way that you actually believe that.
I can't remember what network it was because somebody was saying, and when I want a
He said
left wing
Jon Stewart.
perspective.
Oh yeah, that's right. Yeah,
Daily
Oh, yeah,
Show. He said
Daily Show isn't leftist. No,
the
that's
Daily Show
very
is
moderate.
center.
He said barely liberal. That was the exact words.
Yeah, barely liberal.
And he
Well,
never
they said,
answered
so
me.
there's no, like you said, there's not really any leftism on mainstream TV. It's like, are you fucking
Well,
kidding?
I asked. He never answered me, but I was like, okay, if the Daily Show is barely liberal, what would be a show that you call moderately or decently liberal? Like,
Oh, they don't answer.
No.
Like, my comment on his thing about the White House is like, I'm pretty sure Hitler built stuff too. Coincidence?
Yeah.
Like, I don't know.
You're building another wing to the White House, but we appreciate you keeping your
You can't even
focus.
imagine, TJ. It's going to happen for the next 2 years. All of the banging, the jackhammering, the dust, the confusion, the noise of all places to do construction is happening right here, the front lawn of the White House.
It's a 4-year renovation project. Estimated cost, $376 million.
Was that for the?
I didn't even know that. Like,
that's
part of
2010
me
for
knew,
Obama.
like, I even had the thought, like, what happens if I look through the history of White House renovations? What will I find? And then I was too lazy to do it. But there it is. That's how far back we have to go to find the exact same thing. But, like, I don't know, because, like, I say it all the time where it's like, there's so much about Trump that is, like, uncontroversially true that you can complain about. You know, like, there's so much stuff that's like that I think, like, that's a legitimate grounds for complaint, but they're so spastic they have to make shit up or turn nothing into something, like this East Wing thing.
Yeah, it's been like that all along.
We had when he was up for this most current election. Most of the guys I work with are like blue collar Trumpers, right? Like, definitely more conservative than I am, but I get along with them and stuff. And then we're in the pre-job meeting, and there's them, and there's me, and then there's the normal lefty guy, and he's they're all talking about how, yeah, on this weekend we're gonna go do the Trump train, or they're getting their cars and they're gonna parade down the street with Trump flags or whatever it is, and the lefty guy starts like smirking and sneering. Yeah, it's stupid, but he's like, I don't know why you guys are so into him, and they're like, would you like him? We're just gonna vote for him. And he was like, "Oh yeah, you know," and he used I forgot this was even a talking point, like before his first election. He's like, "Yeah, he really likes uneducated people. Did you know that? You remember when he said that he loves uneducated people?" And I turned to him and was like, "Yeah, man, that's us." I don't know if you know this, but none of us have an education, like a higher education anyway. Like we're blue collar workers.
You forgot to translate that from leftist, which means when he says uneducated, he means literally stupid.
Yeah.
Like that's what their double speak is actually
How
about.
do you not want that? You're a lefty. You're supposed to be for the workers and shit. Coal miners, uneducated. Plumbers, uneducated. Like all these people. How's that insulting?
Troy asked, so no taxpayer money involved in the expansion? No, he supposedly funded it from.
Apparently, he
donors.
paid for most of it, and then like donors paid for like who was the list? Some of it was creepy guys like BlackRock, but then some of it was like Bill Gates, like Microsoft stuff. You know, but yeah, it's being paid for. But the other thing is like I saw there's like the BBC had a thing where like a guy says like, well, this raises some ethical questions about him getting donor money from donor nations, because like first off, it's not Trump getting it, it's the White House getting it, and when Trump isn't president anymore, it will be whoever the next president. That's who is it. It belongs to the people. But then also like this whole other thing was like, oh, so now you're suddenly worried about where people are getting their money from? Because like the thing I always bring up, like from a gajillion years ago, just on my own, I had the thought of like, what does the Clinton Foundation do? What do they do? And so then I looked it up, and according to the Clinton Foundation, their primary goal is to spread feminism. And then I was like, so wait, why did the Saudi royal family give $50 million to the Clinton Foundation to spread feminism? Something doesn't add up.
Do you remember they had those whistleblowers who were pointing out that they didn't pay any proper taxes, and then that all just went away? But the Southern District of New York has never bothered to look into them. They just look into Bannon down in Florida, and not at the person right in their backyard. Trump is demolishing the White House, which has remained untouched and preserved in its original state since it was built by God in 4000 BC. Trump's plans for the White House are out of control. Yeah, just like you said, it's stuff that I don't understand. Like why it almost seems like it'd be really easy for Trump to divert them, that old thing, like divert their attention over here so they won't see what I'm doing over here.
Yeah.
Like it'd be so easy to get them to do any sort of thing like that.
Well, because they're like they show the picture of the demolished part, and they're like, "This is an analogy for what Trump is doing." It's like, okay, so when it's all built up and beautiful and sparkling new, are you going to say this is an analogy for what Trump is doing to America? He's expanding it and making it nice.
Yeah. All right, you can take off, but I'm gonna play you out with it is it was a riff on it. This is the Agnostic Hymns from
That's like when I went to England, you know, obviously I was excited to try all the things that I grew up seeing about England. It's like you always hear about beans on toast, and like I don't know what I was expecting, you know, because I thought like
you thought it'd be something fancier.
Maybe there's some kind of magical thing that happens.
It's like Wonder Bread, isn't it?
No, I mean it's just toast, and it's literally just canned beans, like beans on toast. And like, you know, so I'm like, yeah, okay, that's exactly what I imagined. Like, it's hard to eat. It's like you can't pick it up because the beans will fall off. Like, it's the weirdest fucking thing. But like,
eat it with a fork or something.
Yeah, that's what I did because I didn't want my beans rolling around. The Heinz baked beans, Risto. That's the classic thing. Is literally can of beans, warm it up, put it on the toast. That's the whole thing. Bushes. They call it bushes there. Like that's the whole thing. It's literally beans on toast. I was like, that's weird. All right, Cam.
I guess all we got really left to talk about is no Kingsy stuff. But here's Bernie Sanders making a dipshit of himself. But Flip, you are excused, but you can.
But what happens is when the government promises endless funds to insurance companies or private universities without any cost controls, and Trump seems to understand this, prices rise far beyond the rate of inflation. And we've seen it in tuition, and we've seen it in pharmaceutical, and we've seen it in healthcare. So my question is, will Democrats recognize the poison pill that they've often placed into well-intentioned policy?
Right. What they end up.
Very great question, John Stewart, and actually surprising that any lefties asking that stuff. Maybe he is not far left.
Doing is coming up with very complicated proposals. You make $48,964.
Yes.
You will get this thing. You make $1 more, you finish and blah, 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 blah. Look, we have got to make it simple. In the wealthiest country in the history of the world, should healthcare be a human right? Yes, it should be. Should we have the best quality education in the world?
Question was about rising costs.
To graduate school? Yes, we should.
He answered with 2 questions he answered himself?
These are
that's the response to that. The response to that is everything should be free. Great job, Bernie. Great job.
That's why I started taking, I'm starting to say that ice cream should be a human right.
Yeah.
Beer is a human right.
Fuck
like,
yeah.
just things that I like, human rights.
One of my friends
totally bailing for sure this
All
time.
right.
See it.
See ya.
So John asked that a great question, which is obviously true. Is just anything that becomes funded by the government raises in cost and price? And his answer is, it should be free. Like Bernie's such a 10-year-old.
It shouldn't raise in cost. It should be free. I remember lady running for governor in Idaho, Democrat, so she wasn't ever going to win, but she she was like listing off the things that she thinks should be human right, and the internet was on there. And my lefty friend was like, "Oh, you gonna vote for the governor?" I was like, "No." Like, why? I was like, because the Republican's gonna win. I don't like him very much. He's a pussy and kind of a douche, but I'm not gonna vote for her. He's like, "Why not?" I was like, "She said the internet is a human right. That's insane." And he's like, "You don't think it should be a human right?" I'm like, no. And he's like, "I think it's the wealth of all human knowledge, so you should have access to it." I was like, "Yeah, nobody should restrict your access to it. Like, they shouldn't restrict. Like, if you purchase internet or whatever, and also the internet is free, jackass. It's totally free. You gotta go somewhere to get the free internet. You understand that? Like, you're a citizen here. You could go to the library. That's free. So don't tell me the internet isn't free. But if you already have a device, you can go anywhere and they have free Wi-Fi. But a human right implies that the government owes you internet. Like they have to purchase it for you.
Yeah. So the No Kings, the NGO Kings the protest all went down this week. It changed the world. All the Selma envy. Oh, yay. Here's Data Republican going into detail about all the NGOs behind funding the thing. If you want to just look up Data Republican and No Kings rally, and she goes into it. It actually has ties to some people in Utah who funded the whole thing. Money. But I'm sure all the boomers who went there weren't all just that. I mean, did you see a bunch of clips? Like most of the clips I saw really were just like a bunch of hippie boomers, and they all like wrapped up by one. People said millions were there, and Republicans were saying no. I think it was actually true. I think a lot of people went out to places.
There probably were. I saw an article that was like, it was a massive turnout. Estimates are between 600,000 people and 7 million people. I was like, what?
Yeah.
That's not an estimate. Like, I don't know if I wanted to drum up my, like, I played a show last week. You want to know how many people came? I'm not sure, but it was anywhere between 10 and 10 million. It was between those two numbers.
Risa says they should outlaw health insurance. Isn't it so outrageous that Obamacare was ostensibly about forcing people to buy private health insurance? Like, how was that even? Like, how would that not raise prices on stuff? It was such a goofy thing from the start. Obamacare has been a nightmare to work with, and I work with insurance at my companies. Obamacare is terrible,
but it made it affordable. It's in the name.
Yeah, super duper.
You should have called it ethical insurance.
You see, there's a bunch of people freaking out because even the Democrats voted to stop giving subsidies to people of like certain wealth. So like retired people who don't have Medicaid yet, it's going to go up to like $2,500 a month for like a family or something like that, because up till now they were getting subsidies, even though they were already people who of some means, but they're getting subsidies for that. And that's set to expire in 2025, and they're freaking out about it. We're supposed to expand the subsidies to keep giving people who could or would have afforded insurance now, but now it's unaffordable out on that market. The Communist Party of USA helped support the No Kings New York City there, the Democrat Socialists.
Yeah, did you see their booth?
Freedom Socialist parties? No.
Well, there was Denver Communist Group had a booth, and it said, Charlie Kirk had it coming, changed my mind.
So stupid, man. Like, they shoot themselves in the foot so bad with these things. You had the optics of the lady who was like the school teacher who got filmed, like shooting in the neck. I guess that lady got fired. She was some school teacher in Chicago, I think. Did you see that lady?
Yep.
Yeah. There's a bunch of other NGOs involved with it there.
I don't want you educating kids. Like, I'm totally fine with you getting fired. Like, because I've always put it like this. Like, if you have weird views and I think you can compartmentalize those views and leave them at home, I'm fine. Like, if you're a Christian Scientist and I don't really want you teaching my kids very much because I don't think you can compartmentalize those and leave them at home, right? If you're a Mormon, I don't think you're going to try to indoctrinate my kids into Mormonism when you're teaching them English. But if you're a wokey, I know that you put your ideology over everything. You're basically your religion at that point. I know that you're an activist. And when I know that you're an activist, that means that I know that you're going to try to push your ideology on my kids. I know everybody has their own weird quirks, their own weird ideologies. It's once I am positive that they're going to try indoctrination where it doesn't even make any sense, like the English department. What the fuck happened to the English department that it got so ideologically captured?
It was just easy. It was just the soft spot. That's it. That's really it.
And an English teacher get mad at me for, I remember I was in 9th grade and they were talking about a Tom Hanks movie where he was gay and
Philadelphia.
Yeah, and he made out with a man or something. Like, she's telling us about this in Republican Idaho in 9th grade English, and I kind of made a face. I was like, ugh. and she like singled me out. She like, what's wrong with that? And I'm like, what's wrong with what? And she's like, Tom Hanks playing a gay man. I was like, well, he's straight. Wouldn't it be kind of gross to kiss a guy if you're straight? And she's like, that's what actors do. And she's right. That is what actors do. I'm sure it's gross. Like, oh man, I got to kiss a guy for this scene or whatever. But the English department in fucking Idaho was like that. I know all of my English teachers were lefties.
Yeah, I mean,
by the way, it goes both ways. I remember having a history teacher who started ranting and raving about Bill Clinton and how he should have been removed from office, not just impeached because he cheated on his wife, and you can't trust someone. And even as an 8th grader in that year, I was like, I don't think you're supposed to be telling me this. Like, I know my dad probably agrees with you, but like, I don't think you're supposed to be saying this.
I've joked before, and I'll say it again, that when they find the corpse of the USA, they'll find a little 2 bite marks, like 2 little fang marks in that corpse, and that's where the venom entered. And one of the fang marks is on the academic side, which is the literature department, and the other fang mark is on the private side, which is the HR department. And those are the 2 areas where I found myself, just in the literature department, and then I went out into the HR department. But
Feminization.
Yeah, but it's also not an accident. It's not an accident because I went to the University of Utah and didn't have much of an idea of what I wanted to do or where I wanted to go. And because I didn't, what happens? You get recruited up, almost kind of like you get recruited up into a missionary program or something like that. You know what I mean? So like I was recruited into those different areas. And when you go leaving the college, everybody who goes out of liberal arts goes into the HR department. And yeah, that's where it enters in. Those were the entry points and just the soft spots.
Troy said, I got chewed out in person by Barry Weller, chair of the U of U English department, when I was attending because I criticized multiculturalism in an opinion paper.
Whoa.
You got chewed out for an opinion in an opinion paper? That's hilarious.
When I was there, I actually skated through pretty well, partially because I was kind of going off of the young kid. I can't go against my professors, and had no idea that the world was like this. You know what I mean?
Oh, dude, I would not have lasted because I was totally the other way. I was in college. I'm at BYU, Idaho, and as strange as it sounds, I'm probably the most liberal guy there. Probably not really, but like my teacher's talking about like this marriage and family class, and I'm like arguing with him about things, or I'm arguing with other people about things. It was I would not have lasted through your schooling at all.
Well, I was partially just of the understanding that time frame that PhDs, I mean, it's fully credential brain, and I
Yeah.
had all sorts of questions and different things, but I was of the sense that almost kind of like when I was young, I didn't think I could say anything against like a church leader or anything like that. I'm like, this doesn't sound right, but I guess you're bigger, smarter, and way more advanced than me, so I can't try to argue with you.
Yeah,
It was
yeah.
almost the same thing with the professor. So I just, oh, okay. And I remember like sitting there, like listening to Judith Butler stuff and them telling me that everything I did with my manliness was an act. And I remember sitting there in class, just like looking at my hands. I'm like, am I acting just with like the way I move my hands? Is this an act? You know, just sitting there like listening to them and just going like, no, I think that's just how I move. You
No,
know,
it's just, but it is a supremacy ideology because that means that, I don't know, they use blank slate arguments, but the blank slate is always feminine nature. You know, it's the only masculinity is all performative, and if we didn't have the patriarchy indoctrinating men into becoming performatively masculine, they would all just be more like women. And women would be, they'd be a little bit more like men. They'd be promiscuous. That's really the worst part of men. Like they just take the worst part of women and the word. It's the fucking Hegelian dialectic. They're like, oh, we need to mash these two things together. What's the synthesis of masculinity and femininity? Well, men are very promiscuous, and that's high risk. So we're going to take that part and then mash it with, well, women are very emotionally driven, and so we're gonna mash that together and fragile. So you need to be promiscuous and a pussy.
Yeah. Starbase says, so glad I got kicked out of BYU before I took a women's studies course in my early ex-Mormonism. Yeah.
Wow.
Masculinity is performative, but every feminist adopts the worst traits of masculinity. Risa says masculinity should be performative. It should be, but like the extremes that Judith Butler took it to, just down to every single act that you're doing in your life is a performance. And
like backflips.
Yeah, backflips, but that's going too far. Like you could say that is getting a little performative or something like that.
Sure.
It's just talking about like just how you put your pants on, dress, do your arms and all that stuff. I got trained and brainwashed into acting that way. And there's part of me is kind of going, I see what you're saying, but at the same time, like this is I don't think I could change or would want to change like how I walk or something like that. You know what I mean? And
Okay, no, that Starbase, his comment was great that every feminist adopts the worst traits of masculinity, and that's kind of what I was trying to get at.
That's what they push in the movies.
Yeah, no, I've said it a million times before. I've told the story in Brave New World at the very beginning where Lenina is wanting to date a man twice in a row, and her friend is trying to tell her she needs to be more of a slut. Mm-hmm. And that's the worst part of it's one of the worst parts of masculinity. You want to not be as promiscuous as your nature might try to push you into. It's maybe a thing you should try to curb a little bit, but that's the part you want to put, not the part that is like the problem solver, the part that when the car breaks down, you keep your cool and you figure out what the fuck to do. It's the part where you want to fuck a bunch of people. Like,
yeah, it's so weird that all those ideologues now on Hollywood just get it so backwards. They say men are all toxic and terrible, but women should be just like that.
Yeah,
you know, and it's so ridiculous. Like you just the Wood Elves today, the base camp guys talked about K-pop Demon Hunter, which I watched. and they feel like the Koreans and the Japanese are just so much better at being able to do feminine heroes. And I think it's just absolutely true. Like they were able to be feminine, and you can only get it from foreign places nowadays. And I tried to think about, have you seen that movie?
I haven't. My wife really liked it.
It's worth watching just to see that a place can do it right, just in the sense of like storytelling and lore, and almost kind of from you know.
As cheesy as it sounds, I watched through Naruto, and I'm not suggesting it because like anime has a lot of filler, and Naruto is literally, the anime is over 50% filler. Like over half of it. You'll have to skip like 40 episodes at a time.
I tried a little bit of, what's the one that's got 1 billion episodes and they had the live action.
Oh, One Piece?
Yeah, One Piece. And so I started watching some of the comics, and I was like, I can't do this.
One Piece does it well too, the femininity to a degree, like because the main female character, I don't know why I can't remember her name, Nami. Like she's not as proficient a fighter as the guy is. She does use her sort of feminine guile to kind of get ahead, but like in Naruto, one of my favorite scenes in the whole thing is, and Japanese do overdo it. They way overdo the timid female, and it's to the point where it's annoying. So Naruto's love interest, her name is Hinata, and she is way too timid and annoying. But there's this great part where Naruto's like pinned down. He's got like several wounds and he's pinned to the ground, and the guy, nobody can beat the guy. And then Hinata steps up and saves Naruto. But the only way, like, she knows she's too weak to do it. Like she's weaker than most of the people, but she fights him anyway. It's like a sacrificial thing. Yeah, Starbase likes Naruto too. It's one of my great streams. I enjoyed it.
Troy said that he likes the K-pop Demon Hunters too. You should watch it. It's really good. And I watch it and I try to imagine. Well, it's done so well. I guess they were just saying today that the music has already almost doubled how many streaming things that the Frozen soundtrack ever got.
Oh, thank
Can
God.
you believe that? Like how huge that was, that it's already like doubled it. It's because it's got more songs that people are crazy about.
Frozen was such an anti-story. Like,
yeah,
what the big anthem in Frozen, Let It Go. It's supposed to be her triumphant song where she's like finally becoming herself. But while she's doing that, she's left her responsibility and her kingdom is dying in a frozen hellscape.
She froze over her kingdom.
Yeah.
Well, Peterson himself said years ago in some live stream, and he caught hell for it, but I think he'll be right. He says that's got no chance of becoming like a long-term classic. And everyone's like, no way, it's going to be a long-term classic. And I think it might just kind of sort of vanish as a fad of the time and not be like held as like an all-time classic. I think K-pop Demon Hunters might be, but obviously it did so well that they're going to be pumping out more, and Sony owns it. And who knows if they're going to get those Hollywood writers. And I watched the whole thing and I try to imagine the ways that they would mess it up. Because what's so good about it is it does female heroes right. And even the bad guys are the boys. And none of it is how a Hollywood place would do it. You know what I mean? Like everybody has something redemptive about them. Everybody has struggles that they're going through. But the women, the girls in it are totally girly. They like clothes and hair and all that sorts of stuff. And then they also like food. So they're not just completely girly stuff. But on top of all that, they get giddy for boys. You know what I mean? And
Starbase said, I've said it before, but Eowyn is the greatest female hero in film. Here's the thing. Eowyn's very problematic. And I'll tell you why. She's even more problematic in the book because she displays this masculine traits, but they have her come off as more of a tomboy instead of what he obviously is, a trans man. Because anyone with that much masculine traits as a woman, she is a great character. And part of it in the books, they do it even better because like she wants to fight, she wants to do this, and we've all known women that want to do that, especially when they're younger. They want to like fight with the boys. They're more aggressive and stuff like that, and that's what Eowyn does. And she's very heroic when she does it. But there's a great moment after, and they don't put this in the film at all, really, where her and Faramir start having a thing. There's a really long sequence where they like start falling in love, and she eventually, they both sort of embrace their roles, and she's like, all right, I did my hero thing. It's time for us to, be a family or whatever.
Yeah, we had that whole thing this week where I guess it became another big comparison on Twitter of who's better, George R.R. Martin or Lord of the Rings.
That's retarded. If that's retarded. Look, I love Game of Thrones, obviously, except for the
Started
last
with this
season.
uber soy person right here. Uber soy.
Saying that you like Lord of the Rings over Game of Thrones or any other morally gray universe is basically a self-report that you see the world in simple black and white terms rather than trying to grasp its complexity. Oh, eat a dick, dude.
And then Critical Jinxer answered it. Jonathan shared this one with us, saying you like. Go ahead and read that one.
Saying you like Game of Thrones over Lord of the Rings is basically a self-report that you would rather mock heroic virtue, self-sacrifice, loyalty, and bravery than dare to aspire to them because you know you could never reach them. It's nothing but envy, bitterness, bleak nihilism, cloaked in smug postmodern intellectualism, desperately trying to position yourself above the very things you can never hope to achieve. That's all I've got now. Go away.
Yeah. So there's your idiot and smart person take on Lord of the Rings enjoyers, Lord of the Rings supremacists.
Here's the funny part. Do you want to know who my favorite character in Game of Thrones is?
Who?
Ned Stark, of course.
Oh yeah.
Because he's a Lord of the Rings character caught in Game of Thrones.
And so he gets killed because of spoiler. But yeah, I think yes, there's no nuance at all in Lord of the Rings. Everyone is either perfectly evil or perfectly good. I think it's so funny because we were talking earlier. Risto mentioned that Tolkien was in the Battle of the Somme. And once again, if you listen to that Martyr Made podcast or Dan Carlin's podcast on World War I, or if you go and read any of the books about it, like, holy crap, if you survive that at all, you've seen the worst thing that humanity could ever offer. And what's George R.R. Martin seen but his basement? Like, I just picture him as like a basement coomer. Like, he hasn't done anything. He dodged the draft.
That was one of my favorite, or one of my biggest beefs with the movie, is that they acted like, so they changed the biggest character they changed. There was Theoden, and then there was Faramir. Faramir is like my favorite Lord of the Rings character, pretty much, other than Sam. Sam has to be everyone's favorite because he's awesome. But Faramir in the movie, he's like tempted by the ring and then overcomes it and lets it go. Whereas in the book, he's not even tempted by it because he doesn't touch it. He goes, it's one of my favorite lines. He goes, I'm wise enough to know there are some things from which a man must run. So he doesn't touch the ring at all, and he lets Frodo go. And they talk to the actor about why they changed that. And he's like, well, Peter wanted to display some character flaw in Faramir because he didn't really display any character flaws. So that's why we did that. And I was like, that's fucking stupid. Because he had his character flaws that he was a whelp to his dad. Like, he did stupid things to try to win his father's approval because his father loved Boromir more, Faramir less. And Faramir was constantly, despite his wisdom and despite his resilience to the ring, he was constantly trying to prove his father to the point where, like, he rides to his death while Gandalf is telling, and he doesn't die, but while Gandalf is telling him, this is a suicide march. And that's, he kind of learns through his talks with Eowyn after the events that, like, yeah, that was stupid of me. And so he does have character growth. Like, he does have flaws. It's just the ring is the flaw that everybody else had. And he had a different one. And it was kind of nice. Diversity.
Well, just like the screen says, it's stupid to think that there's not. I mean, there's tons of nuance of character all throughout Lord of the Rings. The whole entire thing is there's nuance of character in Aragorn. He's afraid of his destiny.
Well, that's a movie. The book, he wasn't. The book, he was like, "Yep, I'll be the king."
Let's see here. Oh, that's all coming on the tails of. Martin announced again this week that he's delaying again for the 13th year. The 13th year of Winds of Winter. And I don't think he's ever going to release it. And I think part of the reasons he can't release it is because there's no good way to end a postmodern story. I mean, every postmodern book that I'm talking about, like a postmodern, when I was in college, they made us read a lot of postmodern fiction. And a ton of books that I will never even be able to look up again because I don't remember their names at all, and nobody's going to remember them because they're nothing books. They were like stories about kids running around Spain and sorts of stuff, and they're just look at this postmodernism. And the only true way to have a postmodern book end is just to not end, like they have no ending, because that's what postmodern would be. Is just like the stuff's still just going how it's going. That's the end.
Well, Tolkien tried to write a sequel to Lord of the Rings, and like we have the pages, right? He only made it like I think 7 pages in before he's like, nah, this shouldn't have a sequel. And the sequel was basically, I think it took place like 80 to 100 years after Lord of the Rings. And there was, I can't remember his name, Barrymore or something like that. He was a very young child who was very briefly mentioned. He was the only person left. He's very elderly. He was the only person left who had seen the battles from Return of the King. And the story was gonna be basically that, I mean, soft times create, or easy times create soft men, you know? It was essentially what it was. And he was the only one that remembered, and he's trying to warn these people against the evils of whatever. But he eventually stopped writing it. And nuance, come on. The fucking Legolas and Gimli, if you're talking about black and white shit, the dwarves and the elves were so bigoted against each other. As another thing that the book does better, but the movie does an okay job, and I understand why they didn't delve into it, because they didn't have enough time. They made like 4.5 hour long movies. So I'm not really shitting on them, but especially in the books, Gimli and Legolas' story together, it was them going from like, I still hate dwarves, but I like you. I still hate elves, but I like you, to like being willing to die for each other. So what's that but a story against bigotry? I get worked up when people shit on Lord of the Rings.
How did Aragorn become Strider though? Like, didn't he become Strider because he was running from something or something in the?
I mean,
doesn't he have like a past where he was afraid of or running from being the king in some way?
He was a ranger. I can't remember too well exactly why he was a ranger and why he was away from Gondor, but like in the movie, they show him kind of reluctant to reforge the sword and become the king. But in the book, he's more like he knows that's what he's supposed to do, and he's pretty fine with it. And it's been probably 2 years since I read the books. I need to read them again.
Millions gather to express total ignorance about political systems. No kings. Feminists 2018. Feminists are ditching the pussy hats because they're racist and transphobic.
Wait, what? Oh, they're racist because I've seen this. Oh, that was 2018.
If they didn't get called out on those being racist and transphobic, they'd still be wearing them to this day.
I watched a feminist on Reddit talking about how she's worried that her boyfriend said a problematic thing because when they were going at it, he's like, yeah, I love that pink pussy. And she's a white chick. And she's like, but not all women have pink pussies. Black women don't. They're not pink. Well, okay, the guy likes what he likes. I'm sure there's plenty of dudes out there that like black pussy. There's no shortage of dudes that like different kinds of pussy. The pussy is going to be fine. There's plenty of people that like it.
They couldn't just do different color hats, man. Anyway.
I know, it's just like you could do a brown pussy hat. It would still be transphobic, though. They could do a neo pussy hat. It'd have like a little like drainage tube going into it or something.
It's so funny, like all these little things that they lag onto, and after time, actually, I think I have like a short on it. After time, they drop the thing or forget the thing, or
they're missionaries.
Like they never did do the thing.
They're all missionary. You see the psychosis that overcomes missionaries that are trying to constantly one up each other. Like, I'm going to do this, that like, I'm going to put on the pussy hat because I like women and I'm proud of pussy. Well, actually, I know I'm on your team, but I'm going to climb over your corpse on this to get up the social ladder because not all pussies are pink, and trans women don't have natural pussies, and some of them have dicks still, and blah, 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 blah. That's missionary shit. I threw away I had a companion that threw away his sandals because they reminded him of his worldly self, and then another person's like, that's just trying to get you That's just you trying to. You're telling us this in public, and you're supposed to say your alms in secret, and they're just. Oh, it's pathetic. It's embarrassing to watch.
Oh, the pipeline. I didn't post the black square on my timeline. I didn't, actually. You did, though. No, you did, and you now pretend that you didn't. Who says, who fell down the pipeline? Whose social attitudes and behaviors were being guided by social media algorithms? Everything you say you believe today, 5 years later, 6 or 7 years later, you will pretend that you never believed it. You will pretend that you never did this, that you never celebrated that. But you did. You think in 5 years people will be like, oh yeah, I was harassing people who went to Charlie Kirk's memorial service. You won't. You'll pretend that you never did this. You'll pretend what you're doing now was an unthinkable abstraction. I'm actually on the correct side of history, and yet you're ashamed of it. Whereas right-wing chuds keep on doubling down. Isn't that a weird dynamic? Is that what being on the correct side of history looks like? Shame and denial? Oh, the pipeline.
Yeah. Reminder: King would not allow to protest. Called no kings. Like so many of these memes are just like. There's a Chris Risto posting it, and Tariq Lacour put it up. That's kind of interesting coming from Tariq Lacour too. But yeah, I mean it's just so obvious, you know. He won the vote. I saw Mike Benz saying to people, which Mike Benz did a lot of stuff on the NGOs back and all this sorts of deal, and actually got the NGO Kings from him. But yeah, there. All this stuff he wanted to just like counter. He says, just if people post anything, just like write back clean sweep. This is what a democracy looks like, a clean sweep. There was a clean sweep of the House, the Senate, and the they got voted for, you know.
Yup.
So we saw Natasha Helfer. Somebody put "Are the Kings in the room with us" right here, and she started banning people for putting that out. I will not put up with ignorance, hate, micro or macroaggressions on my page. I hope we get recorded for it.
Did I skip out or did you?
It must have. I don't know. Did people hear me talking about Natasha Helfer, or was that me skipping out?
I just heard whatever.
What did the people say? Yeah, anyway, it's just I just read what was on the screen there of Natasha Helfer banning people for putting no king stuff up there. If whoever glitched, I don't know. No kings, no walking, no hiking, no biking. My brother-in-law and his wife are going to a no kings protest and also coincidentally trying to immigrate to a country with a monarchy. Maybe they misunderstood the name. They are complaining about the lack of king. Like, boo, we have no kings here. Boo. They changed the name of the thing.
No tyrants.
No tyrants, yeah, in the UK and stuff. So ridiculous. There's Mike Benz finding U.S. aid people in the crowds. No kings. How long were the reigns in government? Chuck Schumer, 44 plus years. Mitch McConnell, 40 plus years. Nancy Pelosi, 38 plus years. Maxine Waters, 37 plus years. Bernie Sanders, 34 plus years. We got to fight the oligarchy. President Trump, 4 years and 9 months. This tripped me out. There's this George Conway dude. I am Antifa there. This dude was the husband of Trump's chief of staff during, what was she? She was like Kellyanne Conway. What was she in his first presidency? I thought it was so weird that she was like his leading person in the first presidency. All the while, her husband had the biggest Trump derangement syndrome in the world, and he never fired her. What was Carrie Ann Conway
Twitty
role under Trump? Did you share something or Kellyanne Conway? I said Carrie Ann. Kellyanne. The campaign manager.
Really?
Yeah, she like ran like all of his like main stuff, and then after a while, counselor to the president when she's in thing, and all the way through the whole entire thing, her husband was like this guy, the most deranged, Trump deranged person. I am Antifa, out there. And all through 20.
Somebody's got to tell him Antifa's not an organization.
Oh, yeah, that's true. Nobody. Suburban white women with multiple degrees, a $750,000 home, and $80,000 SUV. And I saw she will now be heard, that person on Mormon Discussions who dumped Bill Reel. She was out there doing No Kings protest in this outfit. And what's her name? What's that channel called? It used to be on Bill Reel's channel. She will be seen. She was heard. She was seen.
Stupid name.
Feminization.
And she's out there dressed like this. I'm gonna have the picture, but I won't show because it's just on her Facebook page. But this was kind of a weird thing I saw from
Dude,
that.
the people who are obsessed with handmaidens.
This is a pretty popular TikToker, and she's lefty, and like this is showing some changing of the tides type stuff.
Like, can you be cornier? You're so fucking corny. It's like you believe a TV show that was created to make you scared, and now you're scared, and you're trying to pretend to the rest of us like that's happening. Like, honestly, sometimes it's just like, I wish you could hear yourself. I wish you had a normal mind and you could just experience yourself talking, and I would assume that would help make you realize how dumb you are. So that's like, it's just not even a good show. Like, that show sucks. That show is meant to make you low vibrational. Okay, like everything about that show is like so weird and depressing. It's like if you're dedicating any time to that show, you should go on a walk instead. Live in the real world. Go have a conversation with a real person.
Fuck you. That's what I flicked my bean to.
That's my advice to you. But honestly, that show is not even good. Dude, the people who are obsessed.
There's weird little changes happening out there. Did you want this shared?
Oh yeah, this is just, it's not related, so you can share it later if you want. But it's it's my new favorite sport.
Sensitive content.
Yeah, it says sensitive.
Hold on a second. Let me see. Yeah, that was actually the last slide that I had. Yeah. Oh no, wait. I had one last one to show, but you shared it. Yeah. was it you who shared that one?
Yeah.
That was after the Jew connect the dot puzzle.
Doing the happy merchant. Oh God.
I don't even know that she knew that's what it was.
I really don't think she did. I watched where she came out with a response to that, and she said she wasn't aware of that meme. And I actually kind of believe it, because I don't know. The Kyle Rittenhouse stuff made me realize that Anna Kasparian, and she's not dumb, but she doesn't research as much as a journalist should. She's in well, yeah. I mean, the Kyle Rittenhouse stuff was pathetic, because that was one of her big reversals, that I was wrong about the Kyle Rittenhouse thing. And I'm like, well, that's good, but like, you were a fucking like journalist talking head at the time. And she's like, yeah, I thought that he was I thought that he shot black people. Like, how did you think that at the time? You talked a lot about this story.
People using AI.
I kind of believe she didn't know the happy merchant meme.
Yeah, I kind of believe it too. Or she didn't know that that's how it was referring to.
Mm-hmm.
People
an Antifa protester right here in downtown Portland. See how he's postured? Arms up, ready to bolt. Mate, let me go. I'm not an exhibit. Easy. I'm just guiding him, not hurting. Have a look at this.
Back to this. Let me see. Learn more. How do I see?
You just hit the learn more button, and then it'll let you
see video. Why is that?
You gotta turn the sound on.
Where?
Is there? There you go.
Look at the speed from number 14 in the lime shirt, already charging.
Massive wobble, he's off wheelchair over the top, he's tumbling. Cheese is away. Look at the speed it's gathering. Orange 7 in front. Oh, huge bounce. He's keeping it out right now. He's got it. Cheers, launch up. They're off. The cheese is flying. Look at the speed on that wheel. There goes the cheese. They're off. Look at the speed on those chairs. He's out in front already. Look at the speed from number 52. He's right on the cheese. Blue 17 gaining. Oh, yellow. Red is charging. He's better than blue wobbles. He's got all the first cut of the day. Huge crash. And the cheese is away. Look at the speed. Red jersey's chasing off. And they're off. The cheese is flying. And look at the pace from number 12. He is hurling. Oh, he clicks him up. He's over. Chair upside.
Man, half of AI stuff freaks me out, and half of it gets me really excited for like entire movies that are just the least PC movies we've ever seen in our lives, and just laughing my ass all the way through.
There's two AI trends that I really like right now, and one of them is this guy's page is just seriously all he does is make AIs of morbidly obese people doing sports, and this is my favorite one. Them just tumbling down a fucking hill on wheelchairs chasing a cheese wheel. That's awesome. And then the other trend is chiropractic adjustments. And it's always like a really old lady, and he like goes to do something on her back and then just like throws her through drywall, and she gets up and she's like, oh, that feels a lot better.
Stuff like that. I think the JD Vance fat memes are pretty funny looking.
Oh yeah.
But AI does that too. What about, you saw the Martin Luther King wrestling stuff, right? Like that was
the Stephen Hawking ones are pretty good too.
I saw some Jeffrey Dahmer and Mr. Rogers hanging out. But here's another wrestling one. If it'll play.
Yeah. Knockout King himself strolling in with a round of cocktails like it's happy hour.
Look at that swagger.
He's ready to lay waste to these ladies and make himself comfortable while he does it. God,
it's so outrageous. Well, not that one. I think you should just.
My wife's boyfriend, Francisco, that's him. Thought
this one's AI, right?
Yeah.
So what brought you out today to this protest?
My wife's boyfriend, Francisco, that's him, thought it would be a good way for all of us to bond.
Glad they're here.
Yeah. So
what
Yeah. Oh man. I'm excited for some AI, like a full movie of fat guys doing stuff.
Oh,
like
fuck yeah.
I could watch like a full fat guy John Wick or something like that.
Yeah.
Like an entire fat guy Matrix or something like that.
I was in Uncharted. It's funny because the original Uncharted game, they had like some cheats in them that you could unlock, and the main character's name is Nathan Drake, and one of the cheats was called Donut Drake. And they animated him as totally obese. He can still do all the same stuff, so he's like parkouring and leaping and beating the shit out of guys, running just as fast as he does. And it's not just that they made him big; they like gave him the double chin. He looked like an actual obese guy, and it was hilarious. And then they re-released Uncharted after Naughty Dog became kind of woke, and they got rid of Donut Drake on the re-release.
They wouldn't let him do it anymore.
Yeah,
lame. No, so they're using AI now to do full campaign ads like this. Did you watch this one?
No, I saw you sent it, but
Cuomo put out this whole entire ad. If it'll play.
Want you to believe he's an inexperienced radical whose policies will make New York City more dangerous. But
This is from Cuomo's campaign.
what do his actual supporters think?
Mom Donnie isn't crazy. He's just trying to even the playing field.
You know, give everyone a fair shot. Sure, he said multiple times we need to defund the police, but that was just a metaphor.
And yes, he did say crime is a social construct, but that was also a metaphor.
His main backer, the Democratic Socialists' ideas are common sense, such as
Decriminalizing misdemeanors, like shoplifting.
third-degree assault, trespassing, prostitution,
And drunk driving.
With plans to decriminalize all drugs, Ma'am Donnie will be a job creator for drug dealers.
Instead of helping us homeless get off the streets and into the mental health facilities we need, he wants to give us safe injection sites to do crack and let us sleep in subway carts.
These are actual policies Mom Donnie and the DSA want to implement on day one.
When a woman's being domestically abused, she finally won't have to deal with some pesky cop to arrest the abuser, but now a social worker to help, kumbaya the situation.
Breathe in, breathe out.
Mom Donnie is finally lowering jail sentences.
guilty.
But Mom
It's so wild because it's not like Cuomo was great on a lot of these things.
no, he wasn't. This is insane. This looks almost like a Trump ad against Mom Donnie.
Yeah.
Ani says you're free to go.
Who cares if legalizing prostitution statistically leads to an increase for sex trafficking of women and young girls by 70%?
You can't have safety without equality.
For unlawful abiding citizens like us,
I can't believe like he even dared to make the black guy the criminal.
I know.
globalize the Intifada.
I'm a criminal. I'm a criminal. I'm a criminal.
I'm a criminal.
Yep. I'm a criminal.
For Zoran.
For Zoran Mamdani.
I didn't have a real job until I was 30, but sure, give me the keys to the city. What's the worst that can happen?
Paid for by.
That's
Jesus.
wild.
I don't know. That sounded like it was trying to appeal to conservatives, and the only reason Andrew Cuomo would try to appeal to conservatives is if Siwa is actually planning on dropping out. I was actually kind of curious if maybe Siwa has a secret plan with Cuomo to drop out, because that last debate they almost teamed up against him in a couple of phases. I didn't watch the whole debate, so maybe I'd have to watch the whole debate to know for sure.
Yeah, it's well, I mean, I guess that one would just straight appeal to conservatives, would it? So I guess that would have to be part of the.
I mean, the normie Democrats are pretty sick of the whole crime shit at this point. The ones that don't deny that crime is happening.
Yeah. Wild stuff, man. Well, I've hit about the time, so it's got to be.
I want to fucking Brian kill me. I want to Brian kill me. I can't stand any of you dumb fucks in this goddamn chat. Oh my fucking god! I hate the left. I hate liberalism. I hate everything that's going on every single day of the goddamn week. I hate my life. I hate streaming. I hate socialism. I hate every single person who thinks that the peak of activism is just being the most annoying, holier than thou, the most ultimately.
The funny thing is that I say almost all of these same things.
Woke leftist.
Yeah, true.
You did it. You have unlocked the nihilism within me, okay?
Yes!
You can't even have a normal, non-hostile goddamn conversation. The best possible thing you can do is just be goddamn annoying. I want to just shut it off, dude.
This is not AI, by the way. He
Oh yeah, I've seen this.
Shut everything off. I just want to go away. If I wasn't so goddamn stubborn, I would have a long time ago. Oh my lord. I 100% think you should someday go on sub-only mode. What do you mean? The most annoying people.
The most annoying people are your own subs. Yes, you've cultivated these people.
People are literally like the 40-month subscribers.
Yes.
The person.
He saw the clip.
Maybe have a dog and it not be a part of your persona if you don't want to question when you're evasive. You're no different than the GOP. You're a 40-month subscriber and you think I'm like the grand old party because I won't just sit there and be like, you guys are right. I'm actually abusive to my dog. And that is like a routine nuisance and an offliner in this community. Okay? He is a consistent voice of nuisance. Okay?
There's a person that's in his offline chat that's always starting trouble, and he finally fucking snapped.
What are you talking about? The people that actually brick me, the people that actually cause me to spiral out of control are always the people that have been in this community for years, who never.
Well, that's
yeah, no shit,
man. That's on.
Jeez. You know what's funny? Something I missed. It happened a couple of weeks ago, I think. You see Chuck Schumer talking about the New York Times being biased?
No.
He did. So he gets up there and he's explaining, he's talking about the government shutdown. And he's like, this is a Republicans' government shutdown. And I know that the Republicans are going to get up here and they're going to show a study that says that more people blame the Democrats than the Republicans. But that study is the New York Times and it's biased. Okay, the other studies and the entire Congress starts fucking laughing at him because
they laughed.
They laughed at him because he's like accusing the New York Times of producing a biased against the Democrats study.
Man,
it was wild.
It's so unreal.
You know what the worst part about this whole Hassan shocking his dog thing that not a lot of people have talked about is how fucking whiny he sounds.
Yeah, the way he talks just generally. Oh my god!
Oh my god!
But
Stop.
in all the other clips I've heard about him, just he's talking about any of his supporters. It's always like, I don't.
No, you knew that kid when he whines like that. Stop it! You're being so heavy.
Everybody in the chat.
I know it brings up like 8 specific kids that you knew.
Oh yeah.
In like middle school, who did that voice, and you fucking hated him for it. Mom, stop yet!
I swear from all the clips I've watched, because I've watched a bunch of H3 covering it, and they've been having a heyday with it. And almost every clip they bring up of him talking, it's like, well, it's just a caller, man. I don't want a caller. I don't do it. I don't want people talking to me this way. Just every single one. It's not just in that one clip.
Mm-hmm.
I cannot believe that the guy has any traction anywhere with. But I guess that's just how it goes. Yeah.
That's what happens when you grow up lower middle class.
But even he ends up hating, hating on the Warriors coming after him.
The people who have been following me the most are the worst.
Oh my god!
Yeah, no, they are. We know.
Oh, I guess we didn't hit the one big AI thing that was this week of Trump dropping the poop on Harry Sisson.
There you go. We love America. We just don't like kings. No king.
Man, this stuff is it's weird times. It really is weird times that we're at that. Here it is. The final AI, I guess the biggest AI of the week. Why is there no sound on it? I guess there's no sound. Trump dropping the poop on. I can't believe he did that. It is pretty outrageous.
Yeah, he's a literal shit poster. And Harry Sisson loved it. He's like, the president of the United States attacked me.
Yeah.
He shit posted you, man.
It'd be so weird if you were just some Twitter dipshit and suddenly the president of the United States making AI of pooping on you. But whatever. Weird times.
Oh yeah.
Anyway, I gotta go walking a puppy. It's getting to be about that time. So
I'm gonna go watch a 90s anime.
No, watch K-pop Demon Hunter.
Trying to get my way through Yu Yu Hakusho.
Is it got 7,000 episodes?
No, it does not. I gave up on One Piece. I got like
that's supposedly got like 1,000 episodes, doesn't it?
Yeah, supposedly. Literally, it's probably it's still going. I think last time I checked, it had like 1,174 episodes. I got 160 episodes in, and then I was like, I enjoy this all right, but like I've spent a lot of time watching this, and I'm almost 10% of the way through it.
Starbase McCall says Blue Eye Samurai is a good watch. Steve says this reminds me of Dave Matthews Bus dropping poop. That's funny. Blue Eye Samurai, I actually kind of got weirded out of all the nudity in it.
Oh, is there nudity? I keep getting clips from it, and I keep meaning to watch it. The bad guy seems kind of cool.
It looks really good, but it's definitely got the nudity going on in it. Which
we didn't even get to the surviving Mormonisms thing.
Surviving Mormonism.
Yeah, it's a whole thing now. I think it's Heather Gay from the Real Housewives of Salt Lake City.
I don't even know.
Show. I'll find it and show it to you. I haven't watched anything yet, but they keep talking about. Oh, and we didn't talk about backflips. Oh man,
we did. We started out talking about.
Oh, did you? Okay.
The very first thing that I brought up before everybody we started out with the cringe. But did you ever see backflip people? Well, you were here to talk a bit about backflips, weren't you?
I mentioned it briefly. I didn't know you guys talked about it.
Yeah, we showed the video and stuff right at the very beginning.
It was like you said, like we did backflips on trampolines and stuff, but there was almost never girls around for that. We just doing backflips are fucking cool. But yeah, I didn't see people trying hard to do backflips. I see more Gen Z people, like boys that are capable of doing it.
We talked about that I knew. I went to my friend's daughter's cheerleading thing, and the whole entire team, even the fat kids, could do it. And I was like, somebody's teaching these kids how to do backflips really well nowadays, but I didn't know that it was a Mormon thing, and her kids were definitely not Mormons themselves.
Well, and if you know how to do a cool thing, of course you're going to use that cool thing to impress a girl. My generation, it was guitars, but it was a bunch of delusional guys that thought they knew how to play guitar that did not know how to play guitar.
Yeah. So it's close. Says anime's like HBO got it added titty. Yeah, I just wasn't expecting it in a cartoon thing like that. I mean, maybe I'll watch it again. I started watching some sort of like Tales of the Macabre from Japan last night, and it was creeping me out, but I didn't get very far into it. I've watched I watched Death Note. I watched there's one about some kids in a school and they're being taught and raised there for outside monsters that are trying to get them.
Did you watch the live action Death Note?
Yeah, it's done.
That was one of the worst things I've ever seen. Oh, it was hilarious.
I've tried to get into Cowboy Bebop and just haven't been able to get it going.
My brother keeps telling me to watch that. A lot of people say it's like the best anime ever, and it's pretty short. But
I only got a couple seasons into what's the one with all the giants, and it started getting too convoluted.
Attack on Titan.
I didn't know. I couldn't have even imagined it would get that convoluted.
I watched it as it came out, but there was such a huge gap between season 2 and 3 that I just didn't get back on it. So I don't even remember most of the story now.
The story got like out of control, and I was like, "Oh my goodness!" Like, wow. I thought this was just big monsters attacking a place, man.
You ever watch Berserk?
Is that good?
That's probably my favorite.
Where's that one out of? I know that Keanu Reeves was involved with it or something somewhere, wasn't he?
What's that?
Keanu Reeves was involved with it, or he's trying to make it or something.
Oh, is he? I didn't know that. No, you can just watch it all on YouTube. You can either watch the sub or the dub.
Oh, nice. I love One Punch Man.
It's great. I only watched the first like 6 episodes or so, but it was really good.
The first season I've heard the first season is probably the only one worth watching, but there's a good sumo anime. Oh, I think I started watching that one. I've seen anime, man. I've poked around with it, but One Punch Man started doing the thing that frustrated me, which they all do a little bit of. But 1,000 episodes, I could figure out real quick that one of the ways they got away with doing 1,000 episodes is they do a lot of like not moving screens that are just static screens, but they're still talking.
Oh yeah.
Like, oh, that's how you guys get away with doing that much. But it pops up here and there in any old anime. But Solo Leveling. Maybe that one's worth watching. I know that I should watch. Naruto's probably worth watching too. Anyway, right?
If you do watch it, I like it quite a bit. There's a lot of the story that I enjoy. The characters.
What about Dragon Ball?
Power scaling and stuff like that. But if you ever watch Naruto, you have to go to one of those sites that shows you the filler episodes to skip, because I'm not kidding you. There's a few times in there where there's literally 20 plus episodes that you just have to skip over.
Oh wow!
Because they're nothing. Dragon Ball, I grew up with Dragon Ball, so I have a soft spot for it, but it sucks. It's just, I don't know. I like Goku because he's an iconic character from my youth, but I don't know, it's dumb writing.
Yeah. Well, I mean, a ton of it's really good, but I think one of the reasons it's dumb is also why I like it, because what I've heard over there is like the kid or the young autist who draws it gets to control it, and so you're riding on the pants of what their mind thinks and wants to do with the story, which is cool that it has such ownership. You know, it's not by committee.
In Dragon Ball, Akira Toriyama, there was just entire characters that he forgot about, or an entire plot set, because Goku is a Saiyan, and Saiyans are born with tails. And a lot of them get their tails ripped off in battle or whatever. So Goku gets his tail ripped off in battle. His son Gohan has a tail, gets it cut off in battle. And then in the later seasons, he has another son named Goten, and Goten just doesn't have a tail. And somebody mentioned that to the creator, and he's like, "Oh shit, there's a weird convoluted reason why
he's just not keeping tabs on it very well."
Yeah. Oh shit, there was a whole character. Her name was Launch in the original Dragon Ball series, and then she was just never in Dragon Ball Z.
I swear I can feel that with the writers sometimes. They're going like Death Note. Like I feel like he didn't know where to go with it, and just kind of.
Death Note. I like the concept behind it and stuff like that, but L is such a ridiculous character the idea that you'd have this character that's such a super genius that he would be able to just immediately guess that you can somehow remotely give people heart attacks by knowing their name.
But that's because he's just as smart as other guys smart. But then he was ahead of the, like a bunch of them that I've watched have that thing where it's like, I knew that you knew you do this. I knew that you knew you do this. I knew that you knew it.
Yeah,
It
but like
happens
if
in
you're the crime fighter, like you're L, you're the crime fighter, you're in the materialist world.
and then he chooses to kill
Why
himself.
would that be a hypothesis? Like,
Yeah, there's that, and then part of his like game on the guy is to get himself killed, and then luckily there's another guy just like him who's
Well, the way he finds it out early on is that he has a decoy. There's a criminal go up and claim, I am L, my name is blah 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 blah, and then Light sees that on TV. He's like, oh, awesome! Writes his name down. 30 seconds later, he has a heart attack and dies. And then L comes on the screen. Is like, ha! Now I know that as long as you know a person's name, you can give them a heart attack. That was a hardened criminal. It wasn't really my name. That means that you had that hypothesis. Where the fuck did that hypothesis come from? Like, how did you possibly? He's probably using magic. And he probably needs to know your name in order to do the magic on you.
The other one was The Promised Neverland. That's the one with the kids. And it's good. The kids are all smart. Like they're supposed to compete to be the smartest and all that stuff. And then it also has that whole thing at the end of like, I knew that you knew that you knew that I knew. I knew that you knew that you knew that I knew. No, but I knew that you knew that I knew that you knew. And
I liked Vinland Saga a lot.
You told me about that one.
Yeah, one that Seth.
What's the one that's like supposedly the most popular one? It's called like Demon.
Oh, Demon Hunters?
Is that what it is?
I think so. I haven't watched it, so I don't know.
It's the most popular one in Japan, but I don't know if that translates to. No, that's K-pop. K-pop Demon Hunters.
Is it Demon Slayer? I don't
Demon
know.
Slayer. That's it. Yeah. That's supposedly the most popular one in Japan.
Yeah, it's pretty popular here. I just haven't watched it.
Well, anyway.
I gotta get out of here.
I gotta run too.
Struggling with a baby.
Chilling. Alrighty.
I gotta go do woman stuff.
Oh no.
All right.
Feminized.
See ya.
All right, everybody. Demon Slayer, Service Squad got it. Sinatra popped right back up at the end, but we're just taking off now. I'll catch y'all later, fellas.
Later.
All right.